Hey everyone, welcome to Royale League Asia weekly day number 2 between Korea and Japan. We'll have that going on since yesterday, today, and ending tomorrow. My name's G Clef, and with me as always, Simon. Welcome.
How's it going?
Really good.
Yeah.
Super tired from last night.
But so many amazing games though,
Yes.
right?
I actually went home and watched the review, or watched the VOD once again, just to catch the amazing moments, what I missed from the casting also.
Yeah, I can't believe that you went home and watched it again, which means probably what? You went to bed at like 2 in the morning? 3 in the
I
morning?
slept for like 6 hours. I had to wake up and then come to a gym right after. Lovely day. It's raining also.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible weather today, but the Clash Royale today will be amazing. Once again, we have Korea versus Japan. Today we're going to see King's Own Dragon X, but first, let's just take a quick look at the overview.
Yes, 3 regions from Asia, Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia. We'll be having the pennant race after the first 2 weekends. It was a regional division. And starting from this weekend, all the way to week 8. So 6 more weeks of Royale League Asia. I believe this is season 1. And we'll have home and away. So this weekend we have all the Korean players in Japan. And next weekend we actually have the Southeast Asian players in Japan. So it will be going on like this. We'll have all the players going back and forth between the countries. It's actually very exciting for the players to go abroad, play with the players, get to meet the player as well.
Yeah, especially because a lot of these players are very young, and even if they've traveled before, this is the first time they're traveling as esports players, as pro players, minus probably Expo Master and a few others who went to the World Finals last year. But as we can see in the standings right now, Bren Esports and King's Own Dragon X both sit at the top of the table with 3 wins and 0 losses. But Bren Esports have still yet to play their 4th game. King's Own Dragon X played today, so this could all change.
Yeah, only the Japanese teams and the Korean teams will be playing today and tomorrow. And from next week, we'll have the Southeast Asian teams back going against Japan, as I mentioned once again. And Sandbox, after that loss, once again, they are at the bottom. 12th place. Oh man, that's gotta feel pretty bad.
Yeah, the Sandbox was the team that I honestly thought was going to be really good. They have a lot of heavy hitters, and there's just something missing in that team that's just not pulling everyone together. Maybe it's because everyone is so good that they're just not working together as well as the other teams.
Oh, their 2v2 was pretty disappointing yesterday. Look at that, yesterday Japan took all wins, 3-0 between Korea and Japan so far. Japanese dominance from day 1. Still the best team of Korea. It's about to play King's Own Dragon X, the first match for tonight.
Yeah, my boy Shun yesterday, game with 2v2 and the ace match as well, right? Great games from him. Ponos Sports were fantastic games. If you haven't watched Ponos, watch that game. But today's matchups, we have King's Own Dragon X versus Detonation Gaming, OGN Enters versus Ponos Sports, op.ggskeleton versus Fab Gaming. I'm super excited to see King's Own Dragon X again.
OGN and OPGG, they have already recorded their loss from yesterday. They have to really recover. Of course, Ponos and Fab, they got their win. And from the first one, of course, King's Own Dragon X on top. Even lots of Japanese teams during the interview, and also Bren Esports picking out King's Own Dragon X as one of the team that could be a threat to them. So I think after watching tonight how they can actually do, not just in Korea and outside of Korea, in Japan mainland now.
Yeah, home field advantage doesn't sound like much when you're playing in Clash Royale. Like in soccer, you have the audience and there's lots of noise. But it's kind of unsettling when you're playing in an unfamiliar environment.
Yes.
All day you're walking around Japan. If you're Korean, it's not your home country. Like everything's in Japanese. Maybe all that is just adding a little bit to the mental states and is causing Korea not to play as well as they have been.
Yeah, I've been a translator for years in esports, and there are lots of foreign players who comes to Korea for lots of different esports game, and it's so much harder. Of course, first of all, without the language, you cannot really go anywhere. You can't really get your favorite food. It's an unfamiliar setting. You always have to lose a lot more of time even when you're setting up for the games. When you have problems, sometimes it's a lot harder to resolve because you always have to go through a person to speak the language, and it actually becomes a great amount of stress for all the players. So in a different setting, And there, I'm thinking that's where home and away advantage will come in. That's why we're having the home and away system to make it fair for every single player. Of course, getting to play in their own country and then away from that country stays the same. That's why we have this cool format of pennant race.
Yeah, the format is wonderful for this, but I think we're going to take a look at King's Own Dragon X, right?
I think they are about to come up. We have a great intro for each teams. First one, King's Own Dragon X from Korea. Look at that, W3 and third place.
I think it's because that's counting games played. The teams who've played 4 are probably higher rated. But we see Ho, we see Big Daddy today, Expo Master, and Ho. These are kind of the core of this Dragon X team, right?
Yes.
Especially Expo Master, our favorite player, right?
Expo Master has been playing lots of 1v1. Let's see, he makes it out once again. That match comes. Detonation Gaming, a very popular esports, a mobile game organization back in Japan. Of course, 1 win and 2 loss. Grabbing that 1 win, yes, sir. Not yesterday, they actually did not play, but against Gameway, who actually has been superb in their first one. They actually dominated with a 2-0 score last weekend, which was a lot of our surprise, including you, Joel, and myself.
Yeah, it was incredibly surprising to see Detonation Gaming pull out a win against Gameway, who we were expecting to be the strongest team. But the first match today is going to be Ho versus Pyrameki. Ho has showed that he's pretty good at 2v2, and I think he played 1v1 last week and was still pretty good there too.
He's having lots of decks, lots of Inferno Dragon, lots of heavy ones, including the Rocket, and that's mostly, I think, coming from 2v2.
Yeah.
In this case, we actually saw lots of. We're gonna go into the ban phase first, and to make some predictions. And from yesterday, and every week we are kind of having evolving, like improvements and change of decks every single time. 1v1, 2v2. First week we just had lots of golems, few expos from Korean players, and that was it basically. And 2v2, moving on to the second week, we actually had lots of giant skeletons. Let's see what the ban card is going to be. It is going to be 3 Musketeers from Ho, and I believe Poison.
Poison from Pyrameki. You could see on Ho's face there that when that poison spell was announced that it was going to be banned, he looked super disappointed.
Yeah,
Poison
stressed, actually.
Yeah, Poison has been one of the staple cards in a lot of decks lately.
Especially Korean players, because they love using Poison along with the minor chip damage overall, using that overtime, and using the extra 3 minutes was usually the way of winning after having a great amount of defense. But without the Poison, it is not as strong. It is actually not possible with just the minor. It may never be possible. So going into lots of deck changes are, I think, needed for King's Own Dragon X right now. Ho?
Yeah, it does really put you off as well when that happens. Like, you prepare all your decks, but your opponent bans a card that you've been heavily relying on so far in this tournament, and suddenly every deck that you had prepared is toast. Here we can see the most cards used is Zap, Dark Prince, and Mega Minion. None of those cards have been banned, but they are pretty good cards.
Because Ho actually used Poison already 4 times, even in 1v1, and of course including 2v2 also. And those are the cards that he used mostly, including Dark Prince, which came out 5 times, all the time in 2v2. Not really using it for 1v1 here, as I think we're having lots of teams and team members switch their 1v1, 2v2 players because it gives a lot more information about the player going to the next days or the next weekends. So I think they always try to switch their players a little bit.
Yeah, they need to swapping players a lot really does help hide certain strategies that you have prepared for later in the week. Maybe King's Own Dragon X are thinking about tomorrow at this point as well, that they have to play again. Thinking maybe we should keep swapping it around, making sure that we don't have one player doing the same thing every game. Just like Expo Master doesn't always play Expo because it's mostly banned, but when it's not, most of the time he still doesn't play it.
Yeah, that's right. And of course he's not out in 1v1 today, and very unlikely it's going to be banned for 2v2. So I think that will be open, but not just in play, because Can be played maybe for the ace match if it goes all the way that far. But I have a feeling that this 1v1 will show a lot about how Kings and Dragon X actually feels right now with that 3-0. Should be feeling super confident with even against all the other team as they showed, really showed in the interview. And all the videos, of course, available on our YouTube. Yep. Royale League Asia. Make sure you go hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, check out all the games so far. What's interesting to me is that Pyrameki has a 100% win rate with Electro Wizard. Whenever he plays it, he wins. So I'm going to assume we're going to see him use Electro Wizard here.
What if he doesn't use it?
If he doesn't use it, his stats are not as good, actually. Like, taking a look at the sheet here, 100% win rate with Electro Wizard, Royal Ghost, 100% win rate with that as well. But then when he uses Normal Wizard, Ice Wizard, he has a 29% win rate.
He only used it, I believe he only used it a few times then.
2 wins, 5 losses, right? That's Ice. Sorry, the sheet is in Korean, man. Yeah?
Oh, Zap.
Oh, is that Zap?
I believe it comes a lot from the 2v2 because he played 4 games of 2v2. And including that, with the 1v1 with 3 games, that's 7. So we do have all Zap use, but his team has been losing a lot more than a win, so I think that really shows in the number there. As we can see, his most played deck, pretty happy with the Rocket Flying Machine.
Inferno Dragon and Lumberjack as well. Lumberjack we haven't seen a lot of in 1v1 lately. We saw it towards the end of Clash CCGS, but we haven't seen it much today. Anyway.
Sometimes in 2v2, but Rage Potion, Rage Spell seems to be the way to go with 1 less Elixir. We are ready to jump in the first game between Ho and Pyrameki.
Yeah. As always, Korea in blue, we have King's Own Dragon X's Ho, and the Japanese teams in red today, Detonation Gaming's Pyrameki. We can already see a lot of units played. We have the Barbarian HUD here, which is interesting. Magic Archer as well. We haven't seen a lot of that.
Especially in 1v1. You can actually activate the King Power if you're not really careful on the angle. So you do have to be careful a little bit, but once you hit like this, you actually land on shot directly to the Princess Power. You'll land on a few shots. There's the Lumberjack that you were talking about. Bring down the Giant. Great fireball doing the damage onto the hut also.
But that bomb is maybe cleaning up. No, just missed the Spear Goblins. I was expecting it to hit those Spear Goblins there just to clear that up. Takes a couple more hits on the tower, and we are very even right now. 2,084 to 1,958 on the towers.
Surely not the most common deck from Pyrameki.
Yeah, I haven't seen Magic Archer at all. There's
okay, this is the spawner deck. Lots of Spear Goblins along with the Barbarian, and I believe the Magic Archer will be just pushing from the back, just having some range damage.
Yeah, spawner decks really do start to kick it up a notch once we get into that double elixir era. Suddenly you have 2 Barbarian HUDs, 3 Goblin HUDs, and everything just becomes overwhelming if you're not prepared for it.
I think it's all up to that fireball from Ho. He lands on perfect target with lots of units together, with multiple HUDs maybe, but even with that Giant, it's really hard. There are lots of HUDs will be available many times.
Prince almost made it away from that bomb then.
Not too close, but Pyrameki does have a good counter against that Giant push.
Yeah, all these buildings do distract the Giant from going straight for the tower, which does mean it becomes really difficult for Ho here to actually connect. But with that said, he is dealing damage. It's not like all of these pushes are being completely nullified. There's Lumberjack again. This time, I can't see what it's hitting. I think it's hitting the Dark Prince.
Yes.
But this Giant Skeleton is coming forward here. That's worrying for Ho.
Will be going down to Prince very likely. And the death damage doesn't really connect with anything, but they have all the spawns. Giant Wave is coming. Magic Archer started to doing some damage. The Prince so much of a good tool to actually have that all down, but they are going to come over and over again if you can actually do the damage to the backline where the HUD is with the fireball.
Yeah, this is where we see a lot of problems with the spawner deck. Ho just has to be able to stop these units from coming out as quickly as possible. There's the fireball, going to take out 1.5 Goblin HUDs, but it's instantly replaced with the Barbarian HUD. That's so many units being spawned. I don't know if Ho has the tools here to be able to win this game, to push through all this damage that's building up.
Yeah, this is the best one as he can have the Giant. Notice that doesn't even get close to the hut anymore because he's so far back pushed now. The Giant Skeleton going all the way. He's trying to get the back line with the range. The tornado
The bomb is that's going to be in range, right? That's going to deal 1,000 damage to that tower. That's got to hurt for Ho. He needs something here to be able to defend, but he's almost out of elixir.
That also, and sponsors keep coming. Magic Archer consistently doing some damage, and also doing some damage to the tower, connecting a few shots. Trying to bring down all the units right now near the bridge, but spawners keep coming for Pyramiki. That's the power of the spawner deck.
He's getting so much value from these buildings, and Ho is really struggling to try and take out these buildings before they can build up this critical mass that is being built right now.
Giant Skeleton having a trip there, all the way to the left lane.
Yeah,
of course,
good
following
pull.
that Giant.
Incredible pull there by Ho. That's exactly what he needed, but he needs something more. Otherwise, that Giant Skeleton might make its way. There's the Spear Goblins. That's going to stop that, but he just cannot push through.
The Fireball will bring it down to 120. Very, very low. 3 shots from the Spear Goblin will just going to end this first game. If we keep on pushing.
Yeah, if Pyrameki can cycle through his deck quick enough, he will fireball that tower and it will be over.
All the shots are going down. Ho actually tries to go to the other lane and knows that the game is already over. Pyrameki will take the first game with the spawner deck. Nicely done with the tornado even. Gathering everything to line them up for the Magic Archer.
Yeah.
Do lots of damage together.
Should I tell you what card would have been really useful there for Ho? Poison. Poison would have been an amazing card for him to pick up, but with the targeted ban of the poison from Pyrameki, just closing that down, it's really hard to find a counter for that kind of thing.
Usually you have to kind of, and very likely, expect lots of structures to come down when there's poison not available. Over 8 seconds, will do lots of damage. Big radius also.
Yeah, we can see the timeout has been called by Kingzone Dragon X. I think they need to take a look at Ho and calm him down, because that was just... It was an almost unwinnable situation for Ho.
I think he's fixing right now. What kind of deck is good against that without the poison spell? He's looking for that deck right now within his grasp. And look at that. Pyramiki just smiling. Seems like no changes are going to happen for Pyramiki.
Even if he does change deck, he probably knows what's a good counter against the spawner deck and will play a counter to the counter to the spawner deck.
To the counter to the counter.
A counter to the counter to the spawner deck, yeah.
Where does it stop then?
It just keeps going and
it's
going
a rock
and
paper
going.
situation, of course, a lot more complicated with a lot more cards. But in this case, right now with the spawner deck, I think we are about the same. Here, rock paper scissors, as last time Pyramiki got that spawner. Very strong, of course. The double prince deck with the giant did not really work perfectly for Ho.
Yeah, you have to finish it very quickly as a double prince player against a heavy spawner deck like that. Otherwise, it just the critical mass is reached of barbarians and spear goblins, and suddenly anything you can put out just melts instantly.
I think he can keep a similar one, and he even used to bring some flying machines in to do damage to those lower units. The ground units could have been a good tool to actually bring that hut down with. I believe the range is also 6, very long range. And flying machine is sometimes a very good tool to bring down those structures. So I think some changes along with the double prints may actually work. May just go all the way towards the other way, maybe balloon, even having some maybe lightning spells. I think lightning spell in that case could have been a lot better compared to the fireball. It's a lot heavier, but it takes basically all the units on the ground at the same time.
It only hits 3 targets though, so it's going to target the tower and the two spawner buildings if they're relatively high health. So you're not going to get rid of all those units that are there. And here we see again Kingzone Dragon X, Ho in blue at the bottom for Korea, and Detonation Gaming's Pyrameki for Japan in red at the top of the screen. So there we have Ho this time playing Barbarian Hut, Pyrameki with his own Barbarian
The
Hut.
counter to the counter is the same exact deck. It is possible. It is very possible.
Yeah,
And
Ho is doing anything you can do, I can do better.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Same ones, Goblin Hut and the Barbarian Hut together coming down. But the difference here with this, we're starting in, having the Giant Skeleton slowly come down. The explosion, the death damage from Giant Skeleton is so much powerful.
I just want to talk about the positioning of the Spear Goblin Hut. Putting it right at the back with the Barbarian Hut at the front means you're going to get kind of the Barbarians really at the front with the Spear Goblins supporting behind.
Big mistake from the Fireball.
He missed.
I think he was trying to target the Giant Skeleton, and the Archer did not really land on anything.
That's gotta hurt, but he's still got enough here to defend this push, I believe.
No, the
Maybe
Magic
not.
Archer got so much value from Mickey. That's
Oh, what a snipe there from that Magic Archer, taking out Ho's Magic Archer.
That's gotta be like 50th or 40th arrow shooting down from the Magic Archer there. But brought lots of Goblin down as well as the Barbarian Hut from Ho.
Ho has a mountain to climb right now with that missed Fireball. He has so much work to do to stabilize, let alone come back and take this victory. He's taking so much damage on that tower, considering he's done nothing to Pyramekis.
One hut less to his side, and also lower in the elixir.
Absolute mountain to climb, especially when your goblins decide to stand in a nice little line for that Magic Archer, who will just rip through everything.
That's the Fireball that you've been looking for, but you're not really throwing that Fireball to do the actual damage to the structure. You're taking the units down in the front line. That's only few.
This is going to give Ho a very good chance of coming back. Once this Death Bomb falls, it's going to take out all those goblins. Yeah, there we go. So now Ho has the chance to stabilize here. That was a very good Giant Skeleton bomb to take out that push. But there is so much coming from Pyrameki.
Rage from the Lumberjack straight in, but another Rage from Ho will actually speed up all the Spear Goblins.
Oh my goodness.
Doing some direct damage to the tower. Actually, a lot of them. Over 500 damage done already.
So quick, those Spear Goblins under the Rage spell just took out 500, 600 HP from that tower in next to no time, and it wasn't even all of them.
Fireball from Pyramid at this time, bringing down everything. We do almost have an exact one. We have the exact same.
That's wonderful. That's going to bring the Giant Skeleton right up into the range of the tower. Once that goes down, that's going to do so much damage to everything there. Just misses the tower.
Does not connect to the tower, and that's the big issue. When he actually needs some damage, it's about even, but the giant push is coming down from Pirmeki. Just have to use the Fireball. Look at all those structures right near the building.
This is crazy intense right now. All it will take is one Giant Skeleton getting in range of the tower to finish this for either player.
Spawn so many.
Good tornado. That's wonderful here. The position in the Giant Skeleton, oh, Fireball there just taking everything out. The Giant Skeleton position there, if the Fireball didn't come through, the Death Bomb would have missed half those units, I believe.
Even with a giant mistake from Mo, he's actually evened up the game right now with a better use of the Fireball later on. Targeting, just waiting for a better chance to actually bring all the units down together. The Giant Skeleton, as well as the Magic Archer, a little bit early from Mo.
Yeah, if that Magic Archer was a little bit more to the left, he'd be hitting the tower, but the tornado does that for him. Gets one hit. That was a decent hit there on that tower.
Nothing really connecting directly to the Princess Tower, though. So they have to still make their way all the way in. Only 130 left in this game.
Could Magic Archer be the key here for both these players to be able to finish off these towers?
We have lots of Spear Goblins landing it onto the Mega Minion. Even the Giant Skeleton with the death damage will
one hit,
wait.
2 hits, 3 hits, 4, 5. It keeps coming. 6. Oh, and unluckily the Magic Archer changed his target. Does so much damage there.
It's not actually bring everything down. Only the Barbarians will actually have it. There's the Fireball, and that's gonna be it. Big mistake with the tornado at the end. A mistake from both sides. Pyramid actually having that tornado, and because Magic Archer was going to connect with the death damage from the Giant Skeleton, actually moved him away and saved him from the death damage. And Archer was doing the most damage at the end. Without that, the Fireball ending could not be possible, so a big mistake with the tornado there.
Yeah, it seemed that Ho realized that the Magic Archer was the key to finishing that game before Pyrameki. Pyrameki was still using it to protect his units going forward, whereas Ho realized maybe there's a couple of angles here I can hit where I can do a little bit more chip damage to that tower with the Magic Archer, and that's how he finished off that game.
Mistake has been made from either side. It was not the perfect game, but Ho with the exact same spawner deck.
And I gotta say, even if he didn't make that fireball mistake, he probably would have played it a bit better than Pyrameki as well.
Yep, over time, he was able to really come. That's a big downfall if you waste that fireball. 4 elixirs down to the opponent that won against you in first game.
And he managed to climb back. I'm really surprised at how well he handled that situation, because at one point it looked as though he was in so much trouble with all those units bearing down on him. Luckily, a few perfect giant skeleton death bombs just wiped out the push from Pyrameki and helped stabilize that game. It was a very stabilizing effect, those death bombs.
Even against the mistake, Pyrameki also kind of being in pressure. Make that mistake, a similar one to bring everything with that tornado. Let's see if they actually continue to have this one, because there has been no change from Pyrameki so far, but after dropping that set 2, maybe it's about time. And they have the timeout before going into this third one. They realize how important this is, because 2v2, Kings on Dragon X has been super solid in Korea. They know how strong of an opponent they are. Even Detonation, their 2v2, has been pretty weak in the first week, but the second week they were really able to come back against Gamewood, which was at the moment possibly the best Japanese team. So both teams, just knowing and understanding how hard 2v2 will be, they want to use the timeout before and make sure they win this final game of 1v1.
Yeah, plus if Detonation Gaming win this, King's Own Dragon X win the 2v2, the ace player will most likely be Expo Master, and he is so hard to take down. He hasn't lost a 1v1 game, a televised 1v1 game, since last September. Incredible win percentage once he's on that stage.
Again, spawner deck, maybe the exact same coming out from both sides.
Fireball instantly to take out that Magic Archer.
Hey Simon, I think we're very likely to go into a similar situation once again between these two.
It's not very often you see a tornado to finish up an enemy there like
so
that.
He's got a bad starting hand to work against that Archer, so just have to use one of the spells.
We didn't see it. Oh no, we did see tornadoes in the last match. Yeah.
For both sides, exact same deck, and both players realizing now, okay, he's going to keep the exact same. Let's try to have this delayed as possible until the last minute. Oh, the Executioner, never mind, a different one. And Ho shakes his head, saying, oh, this one's changed. And pretty sure he has a tornado available along with it. So not going to be the same case in this way.
He might have taken out the tornado for the Executioner, but that would be a very silly move to do. I do wonder what he has taken out for the tornado, though, because his last deck looked very, very solid, even though he lost.
Yeah, I think it's changed with the Giant Skeleton. And he may just go all the way in, along with few others. He also has to have a few more body to actually block the damage from the bridge side.
Great value on that fireball there, chipping away at that Goblin Hood in the back, killing the Magic Archer, plus doing some damage to the tower. Very, very good placement on that fireball.
Chopping down Barbarians right now, slowly ahead.
The Barbarians on trees, so should Lumberjacks be chopping them down? That's the question. Alright, so we can see that it looks as though Ho's push is going to start building up a lot more. He's got this Death Ball kind of push building up with the Barbarians in the front, the Spear Goblins at the back, plus a Giant Skeleton, which will finish any defense. So anything behind that Giant Skeleton is going to last a long time. Unfortunately, there we go. The Magic Archer's angle just about hit the tower there. 2 hits, I think, on that tower. Missed the first one. Looked like the Barbarians were trying to push that Lumberjack back into that bomb range, but didn't quite make it.
So the key card is the Magic Archer, doing direct damage, using that angle, though, the long range.
It's a very technical card, the Magic Archer, in these kind of situations. because you can get those angles where you can hit the tower from really far back in your own area.
Giant Skeleton, but Tornado. All the units together, but that's actually not going to land too well with everything. So the Magic Archer does not connect from Pyramid.
The death bomb from the Giant Skeleton there just wipes out the bridge, which kind of slowed down the push. That Fireball needed to be used there, but that does leave him vulnerable to more and more spawner buildings coming.
Only a hit onto Host Princess Tower. All these units.
So much.
I know.
There's the Magic Archer.
So many units. Probably we have like 500 units dying in one game. That's amazing.
The Magic Archer didn't get a single hit onto the Princess Tower there for Pyrameki, but we can see that Host actually did, I think, one hit. That death bomb there did so much work. And the Executioner here is a really good choice. Just mows down the Barbarians in front, but that Giant Skeleton does have a very good chance of making this tower.
With Mega Minion drop, using a Tornado, so this time Pyrameki wants to push in a little bit. It's not at Lumberjack right now with the push, so it won't be as gigantic.
That Tornado could have been slightly better so that everything got pulled into the Death Bomb, but most of the units went down from that. And Host spawner buildings have just fallen. Pyrameki still has his Barbarian HUD up, still has the Spear Goblins. It's hard to see who has the advantage in this wave of war here.
Well, this one will actually land on hits. Actually 2, 3. Even more
oh
with
my
Tornado.
goodness.
It's actually landing a lot of hits. Fireball, and it goes down with all the damage from the spears even connecting right after. When the big ones were out of range with the Tornado. Nicely done by Pyrameki, just forcing that out to connect directly to the tower.
It's not very often you see 3 games with the same deck like that. One change with the Executioner was enough to win it. That Executioner did so much work to all those units, just chipping away at the units, not even the tower, just chipping away at the units, making sure that Host push is a little bit weaker coming forward than Pyrameki's push coming the other
Magic
way.
Archer does some damage, but it's actually very, very weak. Every single shot, of course, attack speed very short. You can actually shoot lots of arrows and it goes through the units. So if you have a good angle, you may actually get multiple hits. But unless that happens, which is very conditional, you know, it doesn't really do too much damage. But in terms of damage, Executioner, having that going all the way back and forth, it does tons of damage to all the units right next to the bridge, and I think that's how he got really the value out of the elixir. He was really able to push, and Ho just falling behind in the elixir a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, and the Executioner also has a very big body behind that damage as well. The Magic Archer kind of falls to a lot of things. He doesn't take many hits, but the Executioner is very tanky for what he does. And that is enough when you're facing down all those spawned units. That's enough to be able to do significant damage so that a tower can take it out, or maybe another Spear Goblin.
Yeah, I used lots of Magic Archer in 2v2, but personally, and suddenly it just disappears. And like, what happened? And like the minions just came and grabbed him. It's doesn't really have too much HP, the small amount of damage, but it's got the long range. You really have to use that value. You have to really have that Magic Archer survive for a long, long time. Maybe connect some damage to the tower. That's what you're looking for, but unless that happens, it's really hard. So you really need high skills, experience with it. Now we're moving on to 2v2. Big Daddy Expo Master from Kingdom Dragon X. We'll have Lewis and Ku from Destination Gaming.
Yeah, these are the 2v2 teams for both of these teams. We see Expo Master used a lot in 2v2 in his first games, where he comes out as the ace if he turns it around. We've seen Lewis and Ku play quite a few 2v2s as well in this tournament so far.
We had lots of Tornado Bends. Lots and lots, and mostly Tornado Bends in 2v2. Not just in Japan, not just in Korea, not just in Southeast Asia, everywhere around the world. I think Tornado Band will just be stuck. Might as well just paint that on your screen, I think.
But do you want to change your ban in case your opponent bans
it?
Yes, you do.
And we actually had a golden ban on 2v2, which was quite surprising. Still, lots of P.E.K.K.A. were coming along the way with the Giant. It was enough to actually push in with the damage.
Giant is one of the best substitutes for Golem. It doesn't quite have the same push, but you can build a much bigger supporting army behind the Giant quicker. Because, you get an extra 3 elixir to play with.
What about the Rascals? Of course not available for any of us, even the pros.
I'm enjoying the Rascals. I think they're really, really good. They're a very solid card. No tornado bans!
Wow.
You take a risk.
I think both teams were expecting Tornado to be banned from the opposite side. We do have the Golem ban from Kingdom Dragon X and Balloon from Detonation. So Tornado is available along with Poison. So all the spells are out there, but without the Golem. Oh, yesterday we saw lots of P.E.K.K.A. Giant, but maybe something different because in this case, Tornado is available.
Yep. I can definitely see Poison, Tornado, maybe Executioners in this, dealing a lot of damage with that Tornado. Lava Hound, maybe? I think even without the Balloon, a Lava Hound is still a very good tank to throw forward, and it does fill a very similar role to the Golem, except it doesn't bring in those ground-to-ground units like the Golem does. I just don't know what to expect here. That's double Prince is pretty much guaranteed, right? From at least one team here.
Let's see how they want to handle this, as all the spells are available, and when Tornado was banned, Poison was the way to go right after. And lots of clones even happening with the Giant Skeleton, which was non-existent yesterday.
I think we might see that in this game. I was just thinking, like, without these 2 units, the double Giant Skeleton double clone that we saw last week, I think it was, should be really effective. Should be a very effective combination.
With those 2 bans, I believe we are going to see lots of dashes and charging in. Not just the double Prince, but the Battle Ram, Bandit. We had a lot of those last night. Just sending a few into one lane and then sending a Battle Ram onto the other with some bats or minions to have it as kind of as a backup plan right after.
Yeah, Ku has a perfect win record here in 2v2. He has 2 wins, 0 losses. Not very good at 1v1. He has lost twice, but those games were still okay. They were still really good for Detonation Gaming. But his 2v2 record, that's really, really good to have at this point. 2 wins, 0 losses, going in against arguably the strongest Korean team here. They're already 1 up. If he can win here, continue that streak, his team take a win against a very, very strong opponent. Again, Detonation are like the giant killer. They are taking down these really strong teams so far. They took down Game With last week. It looks like they're going to take down King's Own Dragon X right now.
They continue if they are able to bring this 2v2 down to the ground. They will have the first match win for themselves. Ku, Hermeki, of course, we do come up screen a lot. And sometimes we're caught by surprise.
Yeah, yeah. We were just like going through all the paperwork here, just looking through the stats.
We have this much paper.
And that's not even all of it.
Day.
There's still another
it's like
pile.
1/3 of it. Because I placed everything so that I can actually see all the player names and what they like to play, as I also have my own stats with my laptop, and I usually open my laptop, but after last night we have 4 more sheets of data and thought, why am I even bringing my laptop when there are so many data available for us?
Yeah, I would say it's arguably too much data to go through. But it is really helpful to see what cards these players play.
I gotta thank the Lumberjack for chopping off all the trees for us. Like, we have all the papers right here. I'm really happy. And even the data stats have been helping greatly, I believe. After this weekend, we will really get to see what cards that players like the most and what cards they actually do not like to play, and how the team wants to handle the 2v2s. I think we'll see a lot more patterns and statistics with a lot more data.
Yeah, but SEA still does have that hidden card, basically, because they've only played 2 weeks. So next week we will have seen 4 weeks of Japan, but only 3 weeks of SEA at the end of it. There's a lot more. The more data out there, the more useful it becomes.
Yeah, but that's true. But It also goes towards the other way, where when they actually have to come within the other region. So just to make it fair with the scheduling and all the data in terms of information. Now there's that poison with the miner.
Both players dropping the miner. There's a Mega Minion as well. The Mega Minion for Dragon X was a bit slower than the Mega Minion for Detonation Gaming. That's because they played the poison. Both teams here are going to be very, very equal.
Sending the miner right after. And even the rocket, that's the thing. I believe they also have Tornado available. That's usually what we have along with the rocket. Does massive damage, 432 to the tower, and takes out the Infernal Dragon as well.
What is going on here? We're seeing very similar decks from these teams so far. Especially with this. Are we going to see the clone? There's an Executioner. Inferno Dragon well placed there to take out the Giant Skeleton. There's the poison as well.
Some damage. But you have to take the damage and connect it to that tornado, I believe, was a mistake.
Maybe. But the Tesla is arguably one of Expo Master's favorite cards. He plays it in 1v1, he plays it in 2v2. He realizes the potential that card has to defend anything.
Slow and lots of players just trying to throw that poison spell, do some damage. Not the most damage, but they want to land the damage onto the tower. That's the most important thing.
Oh, beautiful poison placement there. The miner as well connects to the tower for King's Own Dragon X. Is it going to be enough?
Down to about the same 15.
Didn't quite predict that miner's position well enough. The guards took a while to get over to that miner. But there's another miner, another poison from King's Own Dragon X. This is their strategy, and they play it a lot.
Yeah, chipping it down to 1100 both sides. Miner from Detonation once again. Infernal Dragon takes some time, but this rocket will land on both. So going down to 492. Rocket plus a few more damage onto that tower will be just gone. 40 seconds on the clock, still in push.
Rocket and poison will finish that tower for Detonation Gaming. And there's the miner does a lot of work again for King's Own Dragon X.
They even used the arrow. We didn't really quite get to see, but just to throw out some damage. Ice Spirit freezing up the skeleton a little bit.
Both miners. And 56 HP
they will just both
on that
finish
top
it with
tower.
The poison, so not big of a push. So they're already starting their way onto the left side.
Yeah, King's Own Dragon X finish it with the arrows there. But there are two giant skeletons coming down, and nothing stopping that one on the right. Is it going to get in tower range?
I don't think they really care about the King Tower. A lot more health. HP onto that King Tower instead, so that's going to connect, but don't really care too much about it. You want to bring down that Princess Tower. That's what you want to focus on. You want to waste any of your elixir going towards the other target.
Still could come into play later on, though, if, you know, those situations where both Princess Towers drop at exactly the same time and overtime continues. Very, very, very rare that we see that. Good poison.
Great poison. Along with the arrow, they have started to really use that arrow to do some damage to all the units as well as the tower. Inferno Dragon are going to take down. The Giant Skeleton was walking towards the middle instead of walking towards the Princess Tower. Pulls everything in, but that's just going to draw their own units into that bomb. Executioner still stands. Really had to use that tornado because double Inferno Dragon was quite scary. But you do want the defense perfectly against it. Once it connects to the tower, a few seconds, it will be hundreds of damage.
King's Own Dragon X here, eking out a little advantage. Not a huge one at this point, but it is some of an advantage.
Arrow still doing some damage every single time to that Princess Tower. Second arrow comes out. After 900, about even the double Giant Skeleton. Making its way this time.
It's going to be really hard to defend this, especially with those death bombs going off. They have to use their own Giant Skeleton on the defense here, which is exactly what they want, basically, at this point.
With the Giant Skeleton having the explosive damage going down. But the rocket is available for death.
Double rocket, that's going to be it!
That is GG. Instead, King's Own Dragon X, they had the arrow, but the rocket's doing 432 damage every single time directly to that tower. And to 2v2, you can actually bring down 800 with those two rockets. Basically, that will just, you think you are safe near 1000 HP onto your Princess Tower of about 800. I can take some poison. It will take a long time.
And then suddenly 2 rockets come in and like, you know.
And then boom, that's it.
Bye-bye princess.
That's why I predicted lots of rockets in use along with tornadoes. And they did exactly that. They were saving the rocket, just shooting the tornado. And maybe if they were a little bit too late, not really precise with that spell, may also have to use the rocket along with that tornado to blow everything up together. But they were holding on to that until the very end. Nicely done. Good patience by Detonation Gaming.
Yeah, I've got to say, Detonation Gaming have improved so much since week 1. Week 1, they looked very shaky, very nervy. But it looks like last week and this week, they've really come into their own. They've started to gel a lot better together. They're playing very well. They're taking down these top players. This is incredible for Detonation Gaming.
The big difference, of course, Era versus Rocket. Which one worked a lot better? I think the Rocket did, because it did damage to the tower. Starting from the beginning, was taking down Infernal Dragon as well, right next to the tower. Sometimes it's hard to connect because it's slow. It's much slower than the other spells with that will just fly in and do the damage. But this case worked really well, getting the full value most of the time.
Very interested to see if they're going to make big changes to their deck, because that giant skeleton push kind of was the one remaining very strong strategy for King's Own Dragon X, and it just didn't work that time. What is Detonation Gaming going to do here? There's a miner, both miners passing underneath the ground past each other. Poison as well. It's
might as be just similar decks from both sides.
King's Own Dragon X getting a little bit of an advantage against that push there. Oh no, that's bad news. Bears for King's Own Dragon X, activating that King Tower. Oh dear, oh dear.
Only 40 seconds in. Be a big change. Might as well hit. Oh, was going to predict something coming out as well, but only a guard. You're not going to really see too many units defend that tower as well.
That's a problem with using these rockets, is that it is a very heavy elixir expenditure. And that just means your defense is going to be a little bit weaker going forward.
I think King's Own Dragon X just realized that they have to really bring it down early because they have already activated. That's why the poison is connected to the King Tower as well. They don't really care. It's already been activated.
Yeah, getting the perfect circle to protect your miner in that situation. Making sure that every angle, no matter where they put something, is going to get damaged unless it's something like the Executioner. Oh, it's good poison. We'll take them out. 868 on that tower there. Guards, unfortunately for King's Own Dragon X, they're in the wrong location.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to predict, and that's a choice. And sometimes you can actually have a tornado to wake up your King Tower, but oftentimes that is not the case. It will be onto the far left or the right usually.
Yeah, you want to try and hide it behind the corner of the tower, making sure that it cannot get dragged in. Maybe King's Own Dragon X forgot that tornado wasn't banned in this at that point, because it's a very easy mistake to make.
Still a very even one, as Miner doesn't really do too much damage, but mostly the poison. And 38, basically any spell with a few damage will take it out. Log will just do it. First tower goes down, but we will be in the time coming. And that should just do it. Drop down the tower 1v1 right here in this game. Already sending in a miner and the poison from Detonation Gaming. They are on top, bringing this one down.
Star Prince miner, poison in the back again. 1-2 hits from that miner, plus the poison damage. They're slowly building an advantage. That rocket is very, very good, but that's a very heavy card to use at this point in time.
I think they really have to push in all the damage right now. And that's why they're spending all the rockets. Rockets flying here and there on the blue side, red side, and going down to the point. I think it comes down to a point which who can actually have better cycles, landing at maximum value. We don't really care about the Dark Prince too much.
It looks like King's Own Dragon X are getting the advantage in these cycles, because that tower is very, very low. But if that giant skeleton can connect, it's a different game altogether.
Nice reflexes with the skeleton and the guard. Miner actually connecting somewhat of damage on the both side. This King's Own Dragon X, if they have 2 rockets, that will finish it. One more.
They're saving up Elixir surely at this point for that second rocket, but they're going to need it quickly. That rocket's going to come in and finish it off.
Not enough in Detonation Gaming. With the second one available, they had just enough Elixir to bring it down. They will take the win of match number 1. Kings on Dragon X tasting their first defeat in Japan tonight. What a game here. It was so close, almost too close. I believe maybe it wasn't in his hand at the perfect time. Maybe he was low on Elixir waiting for that 6 Elixir mark. I mean, you have to wait until 6. Takes some time.
That's got to be heartbreaking for King's Own Dragon X there, because they had the advantage for most of that game. But once the rockets start flying, you know, willy-nilly, they're just throwing rockets here, there, and everywhere. They started to lose a bit of that pace compared to Detonation Gaming, who, even though were throwing a lot of rockets, still had a very decent defense.
From Detonation, a good change happened right towards the end, where you just put the giant skeleton all the way towards the center in the other base, and actually forced the skeletons and the guards to be used. We're going to take a look very soon. And lots of defense actually had to be used, because you can't really have that explosion damage connecting to the tower, any of the tower.
Yeah, there was the rocket coming down. 1, 3, 2, 6. There's the miner again. Perfect executioner. I mean, it's so close at this point. As we can see, though, Dragon X right here, that tower is in 2 rocket range.
So also, yeah, this giant skeleton,
yeah, causes all the defense there.
A lot of defense, and Miner did all the damage in the meantime.
But I mean, if they had the 2 rockets in their hand at that point, they probably could have left it and just threw the rockets at that tower.
And also the Dark Prince onto the right side. Is it really worth sending that when you're actually taking down the Princess Tower only? You don't really need that at all. And the Zap secured enough damage. That was as close as it got. I don't think they had another rocket available, you know? They only had the poisons to deal with it. I believe we're ready to jump into the interview.
今の感想。
そうですね。昨日
Yesterday,
3連勝
Japan had 3 wins,
で、まあもちろんすごいとても嬉しかったんですけど、
and I was very
それ
happy.
と同時にちょっと明
But
日の自分
honestly,
の立場
tomorrow I'm very worried about.
でこの流れを止める
So I need to prepare so that I can stop them.
前日にみんなで集まって
And the day before,
夜通しその作戦とかを練ったりして、
so we planned
そ
for
れ
a
がう
strategy,
まくいったんじゃないかなと思
and I
い
think
ま
it
す。
went well today.
相手の2on2のデッキに対してもかなりこう対策をしているような印象がありました
So you
そうです
prepared
ね。
very well
ト
for
ル
the 2
ネ
versus
バ
2.
ンっていうのはまあ
The
2対
tornado
2の主
ban?
流なんですけども、もちろんそれがされない場合の時のことも考えて、
was
しっかり
expected.
練習していたので、それが良かったんじゃないかなと。
And I think that plan went well.
そして松本選手
And Matsumoto選手,
はい、やっぱり昨日日本チームが
And
連
yesterday,
勝した中で、
the 3
もう
streaks,
選手たちすごいプレッシャーだと思うんですけ
there
ど
was a
も、
lot of pressure
もう
on
準備
us,
してきたことがもう試合にすべて出て本当に良かったな
but
と
we
思
were
いま
able
す。
to
で
pull out
これ
our
を機に
strength
勢いに乗っ
and
て
do
次
well
の試合も
today.
勝てればと思います。
And I
あ
think
の
we should be
今
able
回
to
試合
win
前
this
も
game
4
as
人の
well.
選手ともにこう今までの試合とはちょっと違った
It was a
こう
little
表
bit
情といい
different
ますか、
today. How
かな
did
りこう
you?
リラックスした表情での
It was a little bit
この
relaxed
戦いだった
today,
と思うんですが、何
unlike
か
the
こう
previous
チー
games.
ムで変化とかがあったん
Was
でしょ
there
うか。
any changes in
そ
your
うで
team?
すね、監督から終始も緊張した方が負けだっていうふうに、
はい
Our
ルイス監督
coach was
から
telling us that we were too nervous and that was the cause of our loss.
皆さんもリラックスして試合に集中でき
We
たら
tried
と
to be
思い
very
ます
relaxed today and
さあ
make
そして
take
コウ
it
選
easy.
手 2on2 で見事勝利いたしました
Crew, you won your 2
も
versus
う
2
日本の
today.
勝利を続けようと思って
We I wanted to continue our winning streak for the
毎
Japanese
日の
team,
練習の成果がこの本
and
番
our
で出してよ
practice
か
made
っ
it perfect today.
やっぱりこの相手のチームが今のところ負けなしというところで、
The
すごい
opponents
こう
were
相手が強く見えるといいますか、プレッシャ
on
ー
their
にな
winning
ったと思うんですが、
streaks. Did that
そこも
pressure you at
しっか
all?
り跳ね返すこの準備といいますか。
はい、もうどんな相手が来ても勝てるような準備をしてきたので
I always prepare for the win against any team,
夜通しの練習の成果が出て本当に良
い
かったです。
やー心
and I
強い
think
ですね。
practice
あり
is
がとう
what
ござい
makes
ま
us
す。
prepare well for the wins
さあそ
today.
してピラメキ選手、
ピラメキ
見事1-1収めました。
そうですね、非常にポイズンの使用率が高かったんで、
I think the
ポイズ
poison
ンを
worked
バ
well
ンして、
today.
それでその 小屋が活かせるんで小屋デッキでいこうかなっていうふうに考えて、まあそ
And
れ
I
が見
prepared the
事
deck with
育
the
った感じが
poison,
します。
so I think
相
that
手
was
の
our
コウ選
winning
手が
reason
ゲーム
today.
2でこうデッキをコピーしてきたことに対してはびっくりしませんでしたか？
Game
いきな
2,
りもう
you guys
自分のデ
were
ッキを使いこなされ
copying.
た
バーバー置いてきて、あこれもしやと思ってパクられたんですけど
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that our
まあ
opponent
一
copied
戦は
our
負けてしまったん
deck.
ですけど同時ず、まあ、メガ5腐り気味だったんでパルチェに変更してとかっていう
But I was able
思い
to
入れて
prepare against those
勝
decks,
てたんでよかったです。
and I'm
あり
very
がとうご
happy
ざ
that
い
I
ま
was
す
able to
さ
win
あという
today.
ことで見事勝利を収めたデトネーションゲーミングの皆さんでした。続いてマッチ2の、準備が間もなく、行われ
Yeah,
ます。
great interview by Detonation Gaming. Seemed like the practice makes them perfect. Lots of practices over and over again. And once you have that experience, once you have that experience, you can kind of predict what's going to be the follow-up card from the opponent. And I think they exactly had that in their mind, how they were able to win tonight's match here.
Yeah, they also mentioned that they've relaxed a lot compared to the first week. He said last week the coach said we were a bit too nervous. Now we came into today, we're a bit more relaxed, and it showed. They did really, really well.
And they're really on the winning streak. 4-0 against the Korean teams.
Yeah, we
And
talked
they're
about this.
continuing that. It's
Okay.
a lot about the pride between
Mhm.
the countries, and you know, if you know any history behind it, it's between these two countries. But we do have lots of matches left. Only the first one, it was a 2-0 surprising loss for Kings on Dragon X, which was supposed to be one of the strongest teams from Asia. But I believe we're about ready to jump into match number 2 very soon. It will be between OJ Antids and Konos Sports. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Welcome back to Clash Royale League Asia. We only had the first match between Japan and Korea. The Japanese team having their win streak 4 in a row. And can Korea bounce back from here?
It's not looking very good, is
Not
it,
at
for
all.
Korea? 4 games, 4 wins for Japan. It just seems like the Japanese meta is just that little bit, you know, countery towards the Korean meta, which is Korean meta is very chip heavy. The Japanese teams just seem to be a little bit different in their playstyle.
I think overall, from yesterday, we saw lots of counter decks actually. So I think that has been really powerful with the mind games. But tonight, I think it comes down to similar decks, but with better mechanics and synergy. When we talk about synergy, I think overall, so far, Japanese teams has better synergy on 2v2. I think that's why they're excelling so well into day 2 right now. But OG and Entus will be going against Honos Sports.
Yeah, this is the almost standard OGN Entus lineup right now. Howl, Astro, and Q-Mills all seem to be their strongest players. And we're going to see Honos Sports here. Rikambuya, top of the team, 6,632 trophies.
Fuchi, the one that did not play yesterday night, will be in play tonight. And it seems like Mikambuya and Raiki are the 2v2 players for this team. And they're just switching their 1v1 player compared to yesterday. And of course, pulling off a win last night. And OG and Entus not having the win from yesterday. It should be a pretty tough year. As we'll have the first 1v1 between Hal and Fuchi.
Yeah, OG and Entus have got to be kind of upset at the way their games have been going lately. They're currently 1-3. And the games they've lost, they've never really looked like they were in. If you know what I mean? Like, it looked like they were maybe mentally not prepared, mechanically not prepared. I'm not quite sure what the difference is.
We'll have to see as we go into the bans. See that ban card coming in very soon. How against the Korean players has been banning lots of expos, but that was basically it. He played in lots of 2v2s right after losing his initial first 1v1.
His first 1v1, I guess, since he banned Expo,
Yes,
was
and
against Expo Master.
Yes, and he lost twice.
Yeah. Expo Master, as we said, hasn't lost a 1v1 match that has been televised since last September.
And
Apart from the
also-
World Championship where he lost to Sergio Ramos, but...
Yeah, also Fuchi in this case. Banned Elixir Collector last time, and he went on his own very cheap deck with the Miner. Lots of
Tornado
spells
Balloon.
was for ban, but this time Balloon ban. And a Tornado from Kronos.
Are we looking at a 2v2 match right now? Like, these are very 2v2 kind of bans.
Well, even the Balloon has been coming out sometimes in 2v2, not as much, of course, a lot more. And I believe we also saw Balloon banned by Ojin yesterday. Seems like that's been a big concern for lots of Korean teams.
But it's an interesting concern because really the Balloon is pretty counterable. There's pretty good counters to the Balloon. Minion Horde, even just minions, archers are pretty good against it. Inferno Dragon, Electro Wizard, Ice Wizard. There are so many answers to it. Does it really warrant the ban?
Well, better not really think of anything if you want to actually have something like a spawner deck, like you saw in match number 1.
But spawner decks are kind of an answer to the Balloon, right? Because they can pull the Balloon away from the towers, make sure that the towers deal a lot of damage. Sure, you might lose your spawner buildings, but it's still a little bit of an answer there.
Here we see Hal from OGN Entus, 1v1 player for set number 1 as we have. As I said before, he banned Expo. Was banned with Tornado lots of times, so he should be familiar with the decks without the Tornado. His favorite one, of course, is Zap with the Double Prince. Actually, never mind, only Dark Prince has been used a lot of the times.
Mega Minion too.
And not really landing too many. Of course, he's one of the Korean players that actually uses guards instead of like the smaller ones with the skeletons or the ice spirit a lot more. Here we have Fuchi from Pono Sports.
does very well with the minor. 3 wins, 2 losses. Good on the Zap too, but Zap is a very flexible card. You'll put that in a lot of decks. But the Lava Hound, 3 wins and 1 loss. Maybe that is why we are seeing this balloon ban, because Howell knows that Fuchi likes to play Lava Hound balloon.
Yeah, Lava Hound doesn't really do too much damage. Of course, once it blows into pups, maybe a little, but still, if you just leave that directly going to the tower, it doesn't really do too much damage without the balloons. It's more to draw all the damage into it, and then maybe you have the miner do the actual damage, or something like the balloon that lends insane damage every single time.
Maybe we're going to see golems this time. I think instead of Lava Hound balloon, golem with Inferno Dragons.
There are not too many, but few players from each region that really likes to play that Lava Hound. There are at least a few, good few who loves to play Lava Hound. Just throw that out there and pair that up with the synergy of miner, few spells. That has been usually the way. Instead of banning Lava Hound straight up, ban the balloon in this case from Howl.
Tornado as well. Tornado is pretty good against Lava Hound balloon.
Yep, against the balloon. Against the balloon, I personally use lots of rockets, and that's super powerful. Of course, just on the balloon, I think it's enough sometimes to, just as an emergency. If you don't have anything too good to defend against the balloon, just throw down the rocket. It will be close to be getting down. A few arrows will just cut it down on the ground.
Still, that's a decent amount of elixir to take down the balloon. It's heavy. But what are we going to see from these players today? I think we're just getting ready to get into the game. It looks like they were just adjusting the volume there on that device.
Of course. You need sound, you need all the music, you need all the sound effects. Hear all the units. Have better reflectives, of course. Always comes in handy.
Yeah, sometimes sound can be misleading because you don't know what lane it's being played on. You're like, oh, he's dropping something out, then throw something on the opposite lane. Have you ever tried to play blind? It's really hard. I put it in my pocket and been like, you know, talking to someone trying to play in my pocket.
Let's go into game 1 between these two. Why would you even play blind?
Sometimes I like a challenge, you know, it happens.
Like
okay.
a challenge into a challenge?
We have Howl in blue for OGN Entus and Korea, and Fuchi for Ponos Sports and Japan in the red, orange.
In red.
Both players playing very similar decks so far. The
Royal Ghost is making weird sounds all over. Pretty old, as you can tell by the mustache and the beard.
As well. He creaks when he lifts his arm up as well, so that's a very good sign.
Kind of squeaky as well. Of course, he's a ghost. There's a graveyard now with the push. Slow on with the Ice Wizard. Not really landing on too many hits. Of course, the poison on top of the other poison.
Lots of poisons there. Hunter being used here. Hunter is very good at units that clump up very heavily, like the Ice Golem, like the Royal Giant. If you have a big clump, the Hunter will just kill it.
Spread all the bullets to all the units, especially the big ones. They will take all the hits. And when it's close in range, oh man, it's going down pretty quickly.
See elite guards there coming out. Just going to get taken out by the tower by the look of it. Not even one hit. Ooh, almost one hit from there. But as you can see, very even right now. Both towers, 1,900 range. Royal Ghosts versus Royal Ghosts is a horrifying sound to have in your ear.
Just so that you can actually have the push. Maybe you want to synergize for Hal with the graveyard. And in terms of Fuchi, maybe you push in a little bit more. Make sure even the Hunter can take some damage. Make sure the Miner connects. So those are the key playing cards from either side.
Graveyard. Good counter to the... the Hunter is a good counter to a graveyard because the bullets do spread out over distance. Still taking a lot of damage there.
Yeah, even the Goblin Spear actually connected 2 shots onto it. So nicely done by Hal, but the counter push is coming with the poison landing directly onto most of these units.
Yeah, actually misses that Ice Wizard just by a fraction, meaning he can get a lot more damage in here. And that's going to help clean up this push really quickly. And is it going to get any better here for Howl? This is the situation he needs to push forward.
We get a few hits from the skeletons from the graveyards, going down to 756. The real push with the ghost is coming again. Howl does have another structure. Goblin Hunter as a defensive tool. Miner actually hunting down the hut first.
This time the poison does connect on the Ice Wizard. That's going to take him down a little bit, but this is a pretty big push coming from Howl. But is it going to be enough?
Just shipping down a little bit with the poison as well.
It's going down 270, 200, 100, 679, and it's over! Howl taking game one here. Very good play there.
Should have catch him on the screen after he dropped that log down. He took his hands off the device and says,
I'm done here, boys.
"You're already gone."
Yeah, you know it's over when it's over. At this point, they know exactly how much damage each card is going to do. He knows roughly how many skeletons are going to hit the tower, even with the hunter there. They know when it's over.
Yeah, they know exact damage. First poison. I think 216 over 8 seconds. And also the log, just to finish up, you kind of know how much damage you have as an output. Fuchi was a little bit slower in terms of doing damage, and Miner might as well just send it directly to the tower. I think it could have done at least a little bit more damage, make it closer to lethal damage, but he was actually quite far away, couldn't really land on as much. The difference really came in from the poison spell, because Fuchi against the graveyard had to use a poison spell to defend most of the time, but instead Howl was using it on top of the graveyard most likely. So that was the biggest difference in this game, I think. Over time, it really chipped into hundreds of difference into the Princess Tower HP. That's how you really put yourself into advantage with the graveyard.
Yeah, almost a poison bait kind of thing. You want to make sure that poison doesn't touch your tower at all. And if you can get your opponent to use it defensively, your poison used offensively, you're going to have that little bit of an advantage there every time. So the more you can force your opponents to use that poison defensively, the better chance you have of winning with this minor poison. Even without the graveyard, minor poison really does benefit well from your opponent using defensive poisons over offensive poisons.
Surely, because over 200 damage every single time. Yeah, this much time to actually play the game. Over a long period of time, you will be taking that tower down sometime. So I think that really comes in handy. That's why a lot of the pros has been using poison as their spell choice. Of course, tornado band, balloon band in this case. So that's why we have a lot of poison with the graveyard, which has been kind of having some adjustments last year, but not really much of a change ever since the last change into, I believe, late 2017. That was the last change into the graveyard, and nothing else.
Yeah, that change was more positioning, right? It was the position of the spawns,
where they spawn, and how random it is. I think that was the last change.
So here we have Howl Blue for OGN, 1 up here, surprisingly for OGN, and Ponos Fuchi in red at the top of the screen. Howl is actually playing very well that game. I got to admit, he played very, very well to take the win. Fuchi held on for as long as he could, but there was just too much of a push there. Oh, here we go. Night Witch, Mega Minion. Are we going to see the Golem come out, which is the usual thing we see with Night Witches? Not this time.
Poison even getting all the bats together. Poison really worth it. Of course, the Prince didn't really do any damage too much, but just enough to trade it.
Oh, that lock just wasn't timed well enough to hit that Spear Goblin there.
Took down the first one, and you always think, and you're always a little disappointed how short the log is. If it's one more pixel, you can actually do the damage onto the tower and the structure together. But
here we have
that
the
will be
Golem. There should be a big push here from Howl. Night Witch, Golem, Mega Minion's going to come in from the back as well, I'm going to assume. All those Spear Goblins will build up as well behind this push. And that's going to deal a lot of damage. Good zap there to get rid of those bats. There are a few surviving.
I believe he does have the poison, but not really going to even use it, as he wants to use that as an offensive tool, more likely. Really wanted to save that up.
Electro Wizard there taking out everything from that push. Does have a little bit of an advantage, Howl, but when you do a golem push like that, you kind of want a bit more than 500 damage. You kind of want it in the thousands range, if possible.
Well, I think with the time that they enough. See, once again, with the poison, if that was baited and used against those golem, I think it would have been a lot worse. Fuji trying another path going towards the right lane this time.
Is this the right decision from Howl to defend this? Most of the time with the golem, you kind of just want to push forward heavily on your own push and kind of half defend your opponent's push, because he's not going to get that much damage done here on this golem push. Two hits, 3 hits.
Does lots of damage every single punch. It does slow damage, but overall, over the time, with the poison spell even on being on top of that power, brings it down to 600, less than 600. More spears connect. One more will go bring it below 300.
Spear Goblins won't be going for that tower anytime soon as they turn around to go for the Giants. They're going to go for that Dark Prince, who is doing a lot of work down on that tower. But it looks like Howl might have the victory here. There we go. 2-0. Is this the start of the Korean comeback?
Maybe. Look at that ceremony. Points finger. Says, I've got this down. Howl, a great play. Very secure. And having the control, not really losing his calm. If he dropped down that Night Witch onto the left side with the Golem, I think the defense could have been a little bit tough. But he just had the right tools. Lots of skeletons actually draw the target away from the Prince. And Mega Minion just doing tons of damage at the same time. Yeah. So just the Golem on top of the poison was enough to actually bring it down. And he had the spells. Again, the poison spell, super effective.
Very well calculated on his half. Like, for me, I play a lot of golems. You've seen like my win ratio. It's golem, golem, golem the whole way down. I always try to just put one big push and just finish off the tower, then go for the king tower. I don't defend that often. Like, I leave the defense most of the time. Maybe I'll throw spear goblins or something.
Now that you said that, you actually look like a golem too.
Oh, thanks, man. Everyone says that I look like one of the big, heavy, bulky characters. Every game, it's like, oh, that's Simon. Look at it. It's huge. Yep. We are going to go into the 2v2. We're going to have Q-Mills and Astro for OGN. We're going to have Raiki Jones and Mikembuya for Ponos Sports.
The usual duo players from both sides. Q-Mill Astro duo and Mikembuya Raiki duo from Ponos Sports, as they really need to come back into the game, as the first 1v1 was a solid 2-0 for OGN.
Yeah. Also, I believe Ponos used their timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
Already after the very first game. So they do not have a timeout going into this 2v2.
We have Raiki Jones and Mikembuya. These two are a very good 2v2 team. They play very well together, and it's almost like they have that kind of ESP. They talk to each other without talking, you know what I mean? One guy puts down one thing and straight away the next thing is down.
Yeah, what we call synchronized together. The sync between these two players has been really good, between the teamwork, how they coordinate against, of course, the communication.
Their minds have melded into one. They're an Archon of 2v2 destruction.
Bring everything down. Lots of zaps. Actually, lots and lots of zaps. Zap has been so effective, especially because you can actually delay so well. You can do some damage as well, and you can stop the infernal damage. That's the most important thing. And the small ones will basically just be gone and will be fried with zap, not just from the lightning spell. And of course, that does look like a legendary card, but surprise, it is not a legendary card.
Worst chest opening ever.
Let's make it cool though.
It does. I do like the fact that it's you know, the legendary card animation to start with. But if that happened when I'm playing the game and I open a chest and I get like a skeleton, I'd be like, why?
Everything else you can just tap to skip the animation phase, but legendary you just have to wait.
It's worth the wait.
Spin, and then you find out that it's a Sparky. Then
Sparkies are good, bruh. Get with the times. Sparkies are really good.
Hey, is there a reason why Sparky has never been shown?
We saw it last year.
Yeah, last year.
We haven't seen it yet, but Sparky is pretty good against the Golem Deathpool push.
Oh yes.
It's very good against that.
Very persuasive, Simon. I am not falling into that trap.
I tried. Okay, Tornado here, banned for OGN Entis, and Balloon banned for Ponos Sports. Interesting that the Tornado got banned this time. It feels like everyone's playing a bit of a chicken with the Tornado ban right now. We saw in the first game today, it didn't get banned, but they did say in the interview that they were expecting it to be banned.
We'll see some similar strategies from OGN Entis, a Korean team, of what they had in match 1. Of course, a different team. Similar region, they do tend to play lots of similar games, and I believe also due to lots of scrims against each other. They do have their own teammates, but of course you don't want to just be stuck in your own fence. You want to go outside and to actually have scrims against the teams. And more likely you're going to play against the teams within your own region, as you will likely to be friends because they've been playing Clash Royale and competitive for a long time together.
I'm going to guess they also scrim against people in their clans as well. Unless, you know, two teams have the same clan, the one player on one player on the other, but they're in the same clan. Maybe then there's an issue of, like, who do you trust? Are you going to divulge my decks and my information? But usually they will play within their clan. They'll play a lot of friends and things like that.
Usually the friendly match has been the way with the clan comes. Big and Booyah once again yesterday. Pretty strong 2v2 performance, as they really have giant skeletons, but lots of the golden pushes, the slow ones. I believe even the double golem just dropping that down and making it just go straight to the lane, and they actually tossed everything onto the other side. And defending against it, which was super hard, and I think we'll see similar kind of strategy, which was not really, there was no perfect solution against it. Maybe it can just continue happening tonight.
Yeah, one golem is pretty hard to defend against in 1v1. In 2v2, two golems, that's a lot of hit points right there on the board for 16 elixir.
Yeah, with two golems, we can have two Inferno Dragons.
But then you have one Electro Wizard and, you know, the Inferno Dragons just spark out.
Fireball.
Are we just going to keep going back and countering?
When I started playing Clash Royale, and when I first got a few cards, and I was playing lots of goblins, of course, which is the cheap ones with the low arena, and then you end up with a player with a miner, and then you say, "What? How can he spawn? How can he actually spawn a unit right next to my tower? That's broken." And then you find miner right after, and then you find about the Inferno Dragon, and what? That's insane amount of damage. And then you try that, and then you find about the golem. You can never bring that down. What's happening to this game? That's how you learn, right?
That is the evolution of players. When you see that card for the first time just deal so much damage, and you're like, I need that card.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm trying to get it.
But I never felt that way with the Sparky, though. I'm okay. Because I already had my Electro Wizard by that time I saw Sparky.
So we do have Astro and Q-Mills for OGN Entis in the blue, and Career at the bottom. Mikan Booyah and Raiki Jones for Ponos Sports in red.
Ooh,
at
even
the
the miner
top.
as a defensive way. I think the starting hand was not too perfect to actually deal against it. Good defense from Ponos.
Yeah, we do see a lot of miners from Ponos being played at the back. They were doing this the other week. They use it very defensively, and then they kind of flip a switch and make it offensive, essentially.
Go the barrel. Get knocked out from the Electro Wizard because the Dark Prince went down right before. Had to use that Electro Wizard.
So you don't want those skeletons on your tower. It deals so much damage. Pulls the Dark Prince all the way back with that miner. He's getting some damage done here, but the miners are just digging under this thing. Surely this arena will not be structurally sound at the end of this game.
Yep. And that's exactly how it felt. I played some goblins and all the miners were coming out right next to my tower. Never knew about it.
Why are there no holes in the arena floor with all these miners digging underneath? Surely they're not putting, you know, structures and stuff underneath.
They're special.
It's a magic miner.
They have shovels. So after digging, they will put all the sand back to their original form.
So that quickly. We do see a P.E.K.K.A here from Ponos Sports, and the Inferno Dragon dropped down from OGN Entis. That is a good defense, but the rocket comes in. That's going to be dead instantly. Now, do they have anything to defend against this P.E.K.K.A?
Bringing some defense.
Oh, the miner pulls everything back. There's another Inferno Dragon.
And the poison actually connects into Inferno Dragon as well. Some damage. Like it goes down. Defense. Mission all the way in the back, so miner actually does good amount of hit along with the poison spell damage as well from OG and Entus. Photos trying to make their own push. In a way, I believe they do have the miner available very soon. Might not use it actually. Double Dark Prince going all the way in.
Takes out the Tombstone instantly. Are they going to connect to the tower? That's going to be the tower down if they do. Good miner there to slow it down. Zaps, but 191 HP. There we go, it's down.
24 seconds left on the clock. Maybe it's possible for
but the Inferno Dragon is connected onto that Kickstarter. Good zap, but is it enough?
Damage.
Just enough.
Down to 489, and they do. Kronos does have a rocket, I believe, so it's going to go down very likely. But not even going to really contest it.
The rocket hasn't come out. There we go.
Not enough.
Entus.
And I think they realized that they were falling behind so far. They were not even able to use that rocket because they had to defend the right side at the same time. Even if they bring that rocket down and bring that tower down to 1v1, you will be losing your right Princess Tower as soon as possible, right after. You'll be losing that war anyhow. So I think they were really lost at that moment.
Yeah, unlike CCGS, crown counts don't matter as much, I believe.
Yeah, only for situations where everything is tied up, and we do have to go down from all the match wins, the game wins,
head-to-head wins.
Yeah, head-to-head I think is the first one, and then game wins, and then something else, and then the crown counts, and then the average time, and then how much money you.
But if you are going for that crown count, then it would have been worth throwing that rocket out just to get that extra crown. Maybe in the final standings, that one crown will be the difference. But there's no real need to. There's no necessity in this tournament right now for crown counts.
I think it's all about how many wins you actually take, of course.
Yeah.
Having a 2-0 instead of a 2-1 helps every single time you have that 2-0 lead. You'll have more games win compared to the loss, and I think that's why Gamewood has been having lots of 2-0s. That's something excellent for them. And Pono Sports, they really have to come back as they already used their timeout already. So they can't really have another timeout in this case. They just have to go straight into another 2v2. If they lose this one, OGN and Entus will be bringing their first win for Korean side over the weekend.
Will the Korean wave start after this game? Will OGN finish this off, or will Pono Sports be able to stop the push from Korea and take this 2v2 game?
They have the 4-match win streak since yesterday night. See if that continues.
Good guards there, making sure that miner doesn't connect onto the tower. Still has a decent amount left there. I know it's very cheap with the guards and the 2 bats that were left, but that's a decent amount of units to push forward from that defense.
Bats continue in. Double Dark Prince once again, but this time against the Golem, so something else to take in mind, and Prince does a lot more damage, just a single unit.
Double Inferno Dragon is going to deal so much, and there's a rocket as well to clear everything up behind it. But the Prince does charge through and does connect. So much damage being done to that tower already.
It's all about that rage. Perfect rage. If there was a 0.001 second late, might not even get the charge, but the counterattack is here for OG and Entus, having lots of miners hit guards.
The Inferno Tower did connect, but got taken down very quickly by those bats and Princess Tower. Currently 1,074 HP on that tower for OGN and 1,670 for Pono Sports. Wow.
See if they can actually bring down the Golem again. They will be expecting that rage coming down this time.
Perfect positioning on the Prince to make sure the miner doesn't connect with the tower again. Nullifying the miners here is kind of key to defeating this deck from OGN.
Ice Golem actually does a lot more damage than the Gold Mines explosion damage, the death damage. It's about 70 splash damage, so it actually does a decent amount.
Dark Prince does connect on that tower with the poison and a guard. That's going to be enough to take it down. Surely, there we go. Tower is down.
But they have to get everything with this double golem push. They do have the rage.
Oh, there's an Electro Wizard. They need to, there we go. They did have to rocket it to make sure that that Inferno Dragon can take things down. But the bats, if they connect onto it, but they go for the first column first. If they connect onto there we go.
They will bring down tower
down
so
anyway.
OGN is already focusing onto the right lane. Goes straight with the miner and the skeleton barrel also connecting it.
Still so much left down there for Ponos. That's going to deal quite a lot of damage to the King Tower here.
Still very true, but of course Princess Tower a lot lower in HP, so you do want to focus on that first. As miner, some damage, now the double golden once again connects, and Ponos, I think they have got this. I think they are having this massive comeback.
No, there is a double Inferno Dragon for OGN, but the Electro Wizard does shut that down very quickly. Good rocket there. Doesn't quite take out the Prince. If he decided to charge past the golems, it would be dangerous. There's the Rage, Dark Prince, and the Inferno Dragon comes down again, but that tower is dropping health pretty quickly. There's the Prince connection.
Are doing tons of damage, landing on another hit, goes all the way down with the Prince, charging into the final Princess Tower on the bottom there.
So many Prince connections there for Ponos Sports. Does make sure those towers go down very, very quickly.
Ponos, they will finally come back into the series, as that was actually a match point for OGN Entus. They still need one more win. That will close out the match. And that double golden push, which they have done yesterday, was a very similar one. But with the Rage, that was a real problem. Even the Infernal Dragon can only lock onto one unit. You have double golems coming in. Which one do you take out first? How can you actually get them all out together? Even with the rocket, was not really perfect to actually land that on. And when OGN just lost the turret on lost the tower on the left, Prince can actually charge directly in. You don't really have to you don't really have to cross the bridge. You can just place it right next to the tower. Has been the tool charged right in and finished that game off.
Prince is such a good card when he gets that charge off against the tower. It just did so much damage. As you saw there was about 1,000 hit points left on the tower when the golem went down, but the charges came out from the Princes and just finished it off.
Yeah, with some damage from the Golemites and the Prince charge, down to 600, it was instantly gone. Just blew up. And then from the sound I was saying, oh, it's gotta be the charge. Prince, that spear actually, I think the spear range is actually quite far, because Prince actually does not really go all the way to the tower, but lands on a hit.
I was reading this yesterday, I think it's 1.25 range. Instead of melee, I think it's 0.5.
Pretty sure? Instead of 1.25 to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Can you
7.
stop making numbers up? I'm getting so confused.
Like,
we did have a timeout from OGN Entus.
They want to close this one out before we go into an ace match. If they bring this one back, it will be even 1-1, and they will be, both teams will be going to that ace match right after. OGN on the match point, so they surely want to close this one out, but how do you defend against the double gold and maybe bringing another Infernal Dragon as well? Maybe even a mirror when you need some desperation. Maybe just copy the one that you used right before.
Well, I mean, they did have 2 Inferno Dragons in that, but they never really managed to get them out at the same time. I don't know, how do you say? It is so much HP.
I have an answer. Bring your own double golem. It has been the way. Copy and do it better. That has been working for OGN Entus actually, and also the one before.
Yeah, so powerful. Double golems is just, what do you do? Inferno Tower?
Triple golem.
Triple golem is the answer.
Even better.
Bomb towers are the answer. Sparkies are the answer, my friends. Sparky is the key.
Sparky is never the answer.
Sparky.
Do not listen to Simon.
Sparky
Simon says,
is the key to taking out triple golem pushes.
I know we all have to listen to Simon says, but not in this case. This is not the right Simon.
Simon says Sparky is the perfect counter to a golem deck. Okay, so we do have Mega Minion and Ice Golem here. Dark Prince coming out as well. And once again, we see golems from Ponos Sports. As we know, it's a very, very powerful push.
Only for now. And because not at the minute mark with the double elixir yet.
Good rocket there. Poison though, it's gonna start chipping down on that tombstone. Electro Wizard as well. Does connect, I think.
Is actually the Electro Wizard. Golem goes straight to the tower. Still very strong. is a big problem for Vegeta. They don't really have too many. I think they used all their elixirs just now with the miner and the guards.
There's just no way to defend against this. It is such a good push. That is the power of the golem. You just kind of stack everything behind it.
The real power for Pronos actually came from the Extra Wizard, stopping
the Inferno Dragon.
Yeah, stopping the Inferno Dragon from OG and Entis, and that's why the golem was able to push all the way in. We're only 1 minute 30 into the game. The first golem pushed all the way.
All it takes is one golem push with enough behind it, and it's over. They're going to go for the double prince again. The miner underneath.
They're trying to pace that up with everything that they have, but guard, the perfect defense for Pronos that was expected. And that push is basically gone. I think they are about to lose their second tower. Oh man, this looks...
You can look at the faces of the two teams. Pronos Sports communicating, smiling. They know this is a very good position to be in. OG and Entis, not quite the same atmosphere we're getting from those guys. Golem once again does connect, deals just so much damage.
In terms of OG and Entis, how they actually wanted to push their wall doesn't really help too much. Even activated Pink Tower with the Zap now. Another mistake coming in, and Pronos even happier. We got this. There's no way of losing now. 25 seconds on the clock. What can they do? Just rocketing the tower may just not be enough with the time they have.
No, they would need quadruple elixir to be able to rocket that tower down from this point. And again, the golem just does its job of tanking damage, allowing a big push behind. Bats are really good there. They had to use the rocket on the defense, but that, as they say, is that Pronos Sports take the victory.
With the timeout from OG and Entis. Great push. I was very expecting, I was going to say even before the game begins, the game 3, that Giant Skeleton may be the answer against the double golden push. And there was some chance of having that out for OG and Entis, but not so many changes from game 2 actually. Maybe they just thought we just coordinated really poorly, or we just had bad cycles.
I mean, the big problem with the Giant Skeleton on the defense against golems is he doesn't hit hard enough. You have to wait for him to die, right? And with the big push behind the golem, he will die very quickly. But is it enough to be able to take it all out? Maybe with a clone and you have 4 bombs going off? That's a lot
4
of
bombs,
damage.
yeah. 4 death damage will basically get everything down. An ace match, the first ace match of tonight.
Who will they choose? I'm going to say Q-Mills for OG and Entis has been their kind of go-to player in this position.
Most of the time.
Pronos Sports, out of Fuchi, Mikamboya, and Raiki Jones, I think we might see Mikamboya.
Either one of the 2v2 players, I think. Fuchi, not really having the best game of only one tonight. Lost against Hal 2-0. Was shut down right after. So maybe having one of the 2v2 players seemed like the better idea.
I mean, one of the key things as well, if you use Fuchi, maybe Fuchi's like, come on guys, I can do it. I can restore honor to this team. Like, I'm not going to lose another 1v1. But the question is that that team has already had preparation against Fuchi. They already have preparation against that 1v1 matchup. So they're going to be prepared for him. So you have to try and throw out a 2v2 player, surely at this point. Again, in an ace match, 2v2 players probably are going to be your choice.
Real mind games going on. Of course, they're right next to each other. And when this kind of thing happened, when I was a player, of course not in Clash Royale, I would shout one of the strategy, and then of course not play that strategy. You can kind of hear each other. They're not too far apart, only like 4 or 5 feet there, and you'd be like, Q-Mills! Not going to use it.
Start shouting like, Giant Skeleton clone is not the answer to this match.
And then the opponent will hear that for sure. Are they trying to trick us? Or but not loud enough that it will be like too obvious, but just enough that your opponent can actually hear you.
I don't know, like just start shouting out random
player
cards.
back then.
It's all about mind games, right?
Yes,
mind
it's
games
actually
is
very
important,
effective,
yeah.
you know?
It is. It's mind games is one of the most effective ways of winning a game before it's even started.
Yeah, I know. I think when they had 2v2, Ponos, they really got it down with the double golden push. I think they basically had their drill discontinued from yesterday, and no one could actually really stop that too well. I think it's about time maybe we see the doubles giant skeleton coming out for 2v2. But of course, in 1v1 match, we're still waiting for the actual player to be selected, and wonder it's going to be our prediction. Our prediction was Q-Mills from OG Anantis, and very likely, was it Reiki?
I thought Mikamboya.
Okay, I think Reiki.
You think
Reiki just
Reiki?
sounds cooler. It's all about.
Pro tip: if it sounds
about being
cool,
cool.
you should play it. Right? Is that what you're gonna say?
No, it's all about when you make an ID, you have to be really careful. You have to think twice, 3 times. Is it really going to be your ID forever?
Yeah, my idea is Flippers. Like, that holds weight. You know, that's one of those names. But we see here, Howl versus Mikamboya. Called it.
Howl?
Oh no, wait! I said Q-Mills. Why Howl?
Howl won twice, and he's going to play once again, and very likely, maybe he will be keeping similar poison miner deck. Howl was super confident in match number 1.
But Mikamboya has proven that he's pretty good against poison miner decks.
Maybe the same golden push from Mikamboya once again. Of course, it's 1v1, but he does have the similar play style with the golden.
Yeah.
But we do have to see the ban cards first, though. They're about to select the ban cards.
What would you ban at this point against either of these players?
For Howl, I would just go ahead and ban the miner instead, you know? If you're not going to really consider using that miner again. Spend miner or poison, I think either one is a very good choice against Howl. And against Mika, we have maybe just an elixir collector. That's an okay ban.
We don't really see many people ban the miner, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen that much,
Only
and it's
one,
very
I
effective
think.
against Korea.
Yeah, only one, I believe. And it was also a 2v2 in that situation, I think. We did have lots of games already, first 2 weeks. The 3rd week, day number 2, so far. And look at that good mentorship from both sides. Having fun, enjoying, and being professional. That's all what this is about, Clash Royale League. For the first time in Asia, they're meeting the different region players for the first time. And once you get to know them, maybe you can just share some strategies and talk about the game. And you can make good friends.
I mean, make good friends, sure, but share strategies with the enemy?
After you play them.
But then you're going to be, you know, they might share it with the other teams.
Make sure you're good friends with them.
Balloon and Goblin Hut being banned here.
Oh, the spawner deck has been sniped here. Says, saw that in match number 1. Not going to happen once again. Goblin Hut.
Very interesting ban. It does leave a lot of different strategies open because it does only ban the spawner deck, but Howl showed that he's really good with the spawn.
It's pretty rough. I mean, when there was a choice between Clan Wars and the Karaoke Night, I was slightly leaning towards the Karaoke Night
Yeah, 100%
For like 2
karaoke
seconds.
night.
for like 2 seconds, and then I saw all the fireworks and stuff from the Clan Wars. And then, oh, Clan Wars does sound better, you know? In the castle, it's gonna be fun. Karaoke Night, after a few hours, you're really tired and you can't really have that going on forever. But Clan Wars has been happening over and over and over again.
Karaoke night can happen over and over again. You just don't party hard enough. G-Clef does not party hard enough to karaoke night. Days and weeks on end.
Well, too bad, Simon. Your Karaoke Night has been banned by Kona Sports here. As the balloon ban continues from Howl, which was the same ban from set number 1, match number 2. Finally getting those down, match set games.
Yep. The stats you see on the screen does not include the first set of today.
It is
Otherwise, it would be 1W2L.
It's not updated to with the first match, but I think he kind of not really expecting the Goblin Hut, but he's not the player that actually uses the Goblin Hut too much. Let's take a look at our up-to-date sheet. He actually has never use the Goblin. I don't think he has to change anything. Unless he has something else with the spawner deck. I think Weekend Booyah was really concerned about maybe spawner deck coming out because he saw that happening in match 1.
Inferno, Dragon, Poison, Zap was the most used cards. I mean, he has a 100% win record right now. 2 wins, 0 losses. It's going to be interesting. I'm expecting Ponos Sports to be a little bit more powerful here. I think Mikan is a little bit of a better player than Howl is.
Well, even Mikan Booyah, he does not. From the data we have, he did not play any balloons because most of the time he was using lots of 2v2. I think that is maybe the reason. In the 1v1, let's see what he can actually do here, as they do have some time to make their deck. Ace match, this will decide the winner for the entire match. Of course, lots of matches, lots of games and sets, but this third set basically decides the winner all the time. So you'll get to, if this is a new format for you guys, you'll get to used to it very soon. It's not the hardest thing. And best of 3 in 1 set, best of 3 in 2v2 set 2, and best of 3 ace match. And the winner of all those sets, well, I guess the first team to actually get 2 wins off the 3 sets, then you win the match, and that's how you win. And if you have more wins, it's quite complicated.
You're going in circles here.
Every single time I try to simplify and make it simple for all the viewers to explain and understand. It's actually quite complicated.
Basically, win games, win matches. Win sets, win games, win matches.
If you win, if your teammate wins, your team wins. Yeah. Basically. Very simple. Unless
it's 2v2. Because if you win and your teammate wins, obviously you've won that set, you know? But we have Howl in blue at the bottom for OGN Enters. Mikan Booyah in red for Ponos Sports at the top of the screen.
Good luck has been called from both sides. Booyah switching a little bit, going to the minor, but Tornado activates the King Tower already. 25 seconds into the game.
However, the Royal Ghost did do quite a lot of damage there. Just under 1,000 damage on that tower already.
But when you actually have something like a minor that goes super close to the tower, now he has the P.E.K.K.A. even.
Yeah, that P.E.K.K.A., the look on Mikan Booyah's face when that P.E.K.K.A. dropped, he was a bit surprised to see that come out.
Oh man, which may be leading towards that he doesn't have anything. He does have the Hunter. I think that's his best tool to take it up at Graveyard at the same time.
Poison's coming down everywhere. P.E.K.K.A. does get frozen and the tower is locked onto him. Doesn't manage to get that connection.
The Royal Ghost connected to the two, but Minor does some damage, but with the King Tower activated already, it would be a lot less than what he could have done. But still a good 500 off that tower.
Yeah, and Ponos Sports has a huge advantage here. 1,286 left on that bottom left-hand tower. I mean, that's going to be difficult for Howl to come back here.
Hunter as a defensive tool against the P.E.K.K.A. Only 4 mana cost. I think that's a pretty good elixir trade if you can get that down every single time.
Very good elixir trade.
And Mikan Booyah was also using his own prison to counter the graveyard at the same time. And meantime, Howl was actually landing some damage to the tower as well. So that will be something that you have to look into.
The Hunter this time connected onto that Mega Minion first, which means this P.E.K.K.A. might get in before it drops. There we go, 1 hit, but doesn't reach the tower again. That is a disaster here for Howl. He needs that P.E.K.K.A. to start connecting onto the towers.
It's almost dropping below 4 digits. Howl even using that Tornado blocks some of the damage from the Miner, from the graveyard once again.
Hunter being used earlier than the P.E.K.K.A. this time. That could be the go sign for Howl to drop his P.E.K.K.A. once this has been defended, but I think Mikan's cycle will bring another Hunter around at that time. Tornado, nothing really to make advantage of that Tornado though.
Takes a decent amount of damage, down to 586. Does have the P.E.K.K.A. cycle, will land on just in the perfect time, but compared to the damage from Poison from Howl, Mikan actually diving straight in, doing direct damage to the tower, going below 300. He does have the Poison to stop it off. Poison and the Log will just finish this game as we are in the overtime.
Does use poison there defensively. He didn't really need to. He could have finished it off, but tries to use the miner to finish this off. Good tornado onto the tombstone, but that tombstone is not going to last forever. 7 set. There we go. Mikamboya taking game number 1.
Hao brought the same one with the graveyard poison. And with the P.E.K.K.A. Not as effective as he was doing some damage with the poison, but that was it. No miner involved from Hao. Quite surprised actually. Graveyard counter all the time with the poison. But instead Mikamboya, he brought in his key card. The Royal Ghost actually diving in straight to the tower to begin with. Did a ton of damage. And Tomb came in, but miner goes straight to the tower. You don't, unless you really want to bring that Tomb down intentionally. So Hao really lacking sources of defense in that way. If he had anything like the guard instead of some of the spells that he had, I think it would have been a lot better as a defensive tool. But in that case, of course, his offense will be a lot weaker.
Yeah, he never really had much going forward. Like, Graveyard does get countered very heavily by the poison. But besides that, what was his win condition?
His win condition, it was to ban Baloo. First of all, that happened. But the deck choice, he was trying to continue with the same deck so far. I'm pretty sure he was going to bring a different deck. In this case, we're going to game in 2 very soon after a minute of having the revising time between these two players. And expecting a similar strategy, but once it comes to the time where you only have 1 win condition, oftentimes when there's a solution against it, you can never win. When you have 2 win conditions, oftentimes that's a lot better of a way to actually deal with your opponent. You can change that up a little bit, and your opponent is going to have a harder time. And that's what Mikamboya did in game 1.
P.E.K.K.A. is a very unreliable win condition because it does take so long to get to the tower. We see Skeletons played by Howl in blue at the bottom for OG and Entes. Miner Ice Spirit coming out from Ponos Sports in red at the top. This time, Mikamboya didn't make the mistake of putting the miner in a position where it could be tornadoed onto the tower. See Elixir Collector come down for Howl. Are we going to see 3M? Are we going to see the 3 Musketeers here? Golem?
Pretty much already not getting the full value after that poison.
There's the 3 Musketeers. So this is going to be the 3M deck that I've seen a lot on ladder actually. But I cannot remember what the other cards that are in this deck are.
Slashes into one of the Musketeer and the tower together. Mikamboya does have lots of elixir available. Very nice way of defending, not really using too much elixirs.
What is he going to pair this with? That's the difficult question right now. Like, what is he holding in those last 3 cards that is going to allow this deck to take the victory? There's a miner, it goes straight for the Elixir Collector. Perfect play there by Mika. We want to get rid of that Elixir Collector as soon as possible. P.E.K.K.A. with a 3M. This is an incredibly heavy deck, and losing that Elixir Collector this early.
It's a good way to deal against the P.E.K.K.A. of course. But Hao's not really making too much value out of the Elixir Collector, which is the big problem. There's a poison, there's a miner, which he should have been expecting, because he saw that deck in game 1.
P.E.K.K.A. is it's a risk at this point. And going for it twice in a row, when even after the first game, it didn't really do anything for him. I don't know if that's the right choice to take into the ace match here. He's going to clear up the Royal Ghost, though. He's going to clear up that Ice Golem.
Not enough.
There's going to be an Inferno Tower coming straight after this. There we go. But that P.E.K.K.A. does not survive an Inferno Tower.
And also Hao has been late onto his defense. Look at the long poison synergy. Healing! What? Spell. Finally we do see it, but still. Inferno Tower. Oh man, that was the key card. We were expecting something else to happen, but we're just looking for luck here as Mikamboya is still in a great lead. Getting pushed, not really too much of a help. Miner chopping down once again with a shovel.
I could kind of see what he was trying to do with the healing potion, but what? Just no. There's a poison. That's going to finish it off. You can see Mikamboya already doing his celebration. Hands already off the device. He knows he's won. Howl loses that game. Mikamboya completely dominated Howl in that match.
With the
in that
same,
set.
with a very, very similar, not the exact same, but very, very similar deck that we had in game 1. Just a few card changes. He actually had the same key cards to bring in, the Poison Miner against the Elixir Collector, which should have been expected. I think Howl was caught off guard a little bit, only thinking about his own deck. And what did I practice that worked really well? And but not really considering too much about the opponent's deck. I think that was the main problem, why he lost in game number 2.
Yeah, the heal spell as well, it just didn't feel right. Like, I know you want to try and keep your 3 Musketeers as alive as long as possible, but is heal that answer? I don't think so.
Healing Potion, of course, after knowing all the spells, if there's no Fireball, if there's no Rocket or Lightning, then you can kind of, that is your best time to actually use that healing spell right on top of Poison, where you will actually heal all of them up. But look at that, Mega Minion, all the spells, even the Chrono Tower, which was set up before, right after the P.E.K.K.A was dropped. So Howl was basically looking for a few luck to be dropping down onto the arena.
Yeah, so the heal there is to try and heal through the potion, through the poison, right? But does he have anything that would really benefit him from surviving a poison? Something that dies in a poison really easily? I don't think so.
The main problem for Howl was that Royal Ghost was actually landing onto the units and the tower together. It was late on the reflexes. Bonus, we'll get to listen to the interview.
まずは最後勝利いたしましたみかんぼや選手。
First with the Cambodia.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
もう追い込まれてダブルスも1本取られて、
I
もう
had
相
to
手
go
があ
to
と
the
1
ace
回でも
game,
勝てばってところで逆転できたので、
but I was able
すごい
to
こう
pull
ま
it
た
off
昨日
and
と同
do
じ
a
くハラハ
turnover
ラさ
with
せてしま
the
ったと思うんですけ
situation
ど、
today.
無事勝利できて安心しました。
日本
And
チ
I feel
ーム
very
なんと
relieved.
5連勝です。
やっ
Five
ぱりこ
streaks.
う離れしてるっていうか、こ
winning
っちのホームゲームでの経験の
Because
差が出
it's
て
a
ると思う
home
んですけ
game,
ども、みんなこううまく相手の
I
対
think
策を
we
して
were
いて
more
うまく
experienced
回
and
ってると思う
prepared, so that's why we were able to
3
win.
のゲーム2で相手のこのペッカを読むようなインフェルノタワーをこうデッキに入れたっていうのは
Game 2, you put an Inferno
そうですね、
Tower
自分が
to
よく
defeat
高
Inferno
回転デッキを使っ
Dragon.
ていて、高回転デッキが苦手なのが大型なので、最後大型1枚は入れてくるだろうという
And I thought that the tower was required because I know the Inferno Dragon was coming and I needed to defend.
さあそして天ゴツ選手
And
今
thank
回
God.
リザーバーということでしたが、
まあ、フチ選手が1セット目1戦目負けてしまったんですけ
Fuchi
ども、
lost the first
やっ
game,
ぱり家族を話すにつれて、このポノスの団結
so I
力
was
の
very
強
nervous.
さが発揮できたんじゃないかと思います。
But I think from that we were able to kind of build a strong mind
ゲー
and
ム1
win.
も取られてしまいまして、かなり追い詰められたこの状態でしたが、
そうですね。
You were very
レイキ・ジョーン
pressured.
ズ選手とミカンボヤ選手の落ち着いた
But I think
息の合ったプレー
Mikamboya's
が
very
もう
relaxed
流れを作ったんじゃないか
situation
と思って
and
います。
his strengths were able to pull up because of this pressure situation.
はい、今日はですね、なんとリザーバーが2人いて勝つことができました。
Today we had two reservists, but we were able to
全
win.
てミカンボヤ選手とライキー・ジョーンズ
I
選手
think
が
Raiki Jones and
頑張ってくれて
Mikamboya were the
本当に
winning
情けない
reasons
気
for
持ちでい
today's
っぱい
game.
ですが、これから自分のできることを
But from on, I'm going to do what I can do for the
ただや
team.
っぱりこう外から見ているとこのスポーツこのチーム力といいますか、
This
すごい
teamwork
この4名の選手たちのこの結束力というのが非常にこう強くなっているというか、
is building
感
stronger and
じがするんで
stronger.
すが、そこはどうでしょう。
And
そう
how do
で
you
すね、
prepare?
実は自
Honestly,
分がかなりですね、みかん監督の
I think
家
the
に
Mikan
泊まり込みで
coach
修行をしていったりもしたんで、
はい
その時
is
に
training me
ライキー
very
ジョー
well
ンズ
to prepare for
で
this
天ゴト選
team.
手も一緒に
And this
みんな
Tengot
で
player
集まって
as
練
well
習するということがかなり多かった
is
ので、
very
それがやっ
supportive
ぱり
and we practice
チーム
very
力
a
に
lot
個
together.
人ではな
So
くチーム力の
so
強さに
it's
つなが
not
った
just
の
me,
か
but
と
it's just the
あり
team
がとうござい
that
ます。
pulls this team
そして
together and
2-on-2 見
performs
事
well.
勝利いたしましたライキー・ジョーンズ選手。
Raiki
ありがとうござい
Jones,
ます。ちょ
congratulations.
っと上がりすぎてあんまうまく喋れないんですけど。
I'm very tempered up right now from this win, so I can't speak very well.
アドレナリンが出てですね。
はい
はい。
まあそうなんですけど、やっぱ最初1回目相手に取られて、まあ焦りはした
First,
ん
we
ですけ
lost
ど、
the first game,
やっぱもう俺たちずっと一緒にやってるんで、
but we've been
まあ
practicing
心が通じ
together
合って
as
る
a
んで
team.
で2回目はミスしたものの取れて、
So
で
the
3回
second
目はもう
game,
ミス
there
な
were a
く
lot of
結構
mistakes, but I
押
think
せ
we
押
were
せでいけ
able
た
to
かな
pull
と
together,
思い
pull
ます
through,
ありがとうございます。
and win
さ
this
あという
game.
ことで見事勝利いたしましたポノススポーツの皆さんでした。ありがとうございます。
That wraps
さあ
up
これ
the
により
interview
セット
for
3
Pono
に移
Sports.
ります。セット
And how confident, and even after making the mistakes, and of course, Ojanentis took the first initial 3 wins and 4 losses right after in the streak, and this will put Korea to 0 again. Wow, Japan taking 5-0 lead in a row. May just end up finishing today with a 6-0.
That will be disastrous for these Korean teams. But you don't want to be, like, as a Japanese team, you don't want to be the first team to lose to Korea. Like, that's going to be embarrassing at this point, right?
Well, not just that. The pride is really in the matter, and these two regions, of course, lots of things to say. And one more game remaining for the last one of tonight, but that has been the trend. Japanese teams dominating over the Korean teams. We are just ready to jump into the closing very soon. And we will take a short commercial break, and we will be back for match number 6 between Korea and Japan. Welcome back to Clash Royale League Asia between Japan and Korea tonight. As it will follow tomorrow as well, but so far Japanese team dominating over the Korean teams 5-0 match score. And Korean teams, they have been climbing a little bit better, but still never really able to bring a win for the match there.
Yeah, it's just not enough. They're just not doing it. And I was not expecting 0-5 at this point in time. Like, this is crazy.
And they almost had it. Ojanentos, they were close. They were only one game away from actually stopping that streak, but after winning 3 games in a row, they lost 4 in a row. And if you lose 4, basically it means when there are best of 3s, if you lose 4 games, you are done. You will lose the match. But moving on to match number 3, we do have op.ggskeleton and Fab Gaming from Japan.
op.ggskeleton lost yesterday, but they've showed decent games, I would say. They've been okay. Fab Gaming have been pretty strong, but both these teams come into today 2-2, I believe. Yep, 2-2. op.ggskeleton, yeah, 2-1 in Korea region. Lost yesterday 2-2. Fab Gaming were 1-2, and now they're 2-2.
Yep, going in to 1v1 match here as Uichan from op.ggskeleton, Ozzy from Fab Gaming.
Uichan and Oz are both very good players in 1v1. We've seen them quite a bit, I believe. Actually, have we seen Oz?
For 1v1?
I don't think I've seen Oz yet. Let me just quickly check through. If my memory serves correctly, I don't think we've seen him.
I think it's also a thing, Oz. No, he did not play any 1v1 so far. Only played 4 games of 2v2.
So maybe he's feeling a bit more confident today that he can take a win in 1v1 compared to 2v2, but
as he has been playing lots of Lava Hound in 2v2, and I think he's, you know, I've told you before, there's got to be at least a player who loves playing Lava Hound, and I think he was one of the players who actually used lots of Lava Hound for 2v2, used that as a tool to actually go all the way in, along with the miner, doing some spell damage as well. That's how they were able to bring that 2v2 victory last night, and I think it's a similar story, but it's a 1v1 now. Still a Lava Hound, very good card, and he may just continue into that.
Very interesting to see. Might get banned here. Elixir Collector and a balloon ban. Okay. I wouldn't have seen Oz ban the balloon if he was going to go Lava Hound. But the Elixir Collector is a very common ban from Korean teams. We have seen it a lot.
Because they have chip decks, they have quick cycles. Oftentimes against the heavy push, it's actually really hard to defend against it. That's why they actually banned the Elixir Collector a lot of the times. But we did see Elixir Collector getting super countered by the miner by the Poison Spell last game. Just the last game before the commercial break. So this could be a similar thing.
Yeah, but I guess they don't want to use their miners to take out Elixir Collectors when they could deal 300-400 damage onto the actual tower itself. So maybe that's why they keep banning out the Elixir Collector. Also, what lurks behind an Elixir Collector is very scary for a minor poison.
That's certainly true. And also, Balloon has been banned quite a lot today. I believe 3rd time for today.
Yeah,
Balloon for 2v2, Balloon in 1v1. A 4th time already, including the ace match last time.
Yeah, there's crazy bans for balloons. I'm not sure quite why we're getting so many balloon bans.
It's about, I think it's a lot about the structure and how they make this. Just the time you play with the balloon, it's really hard to block the balloon instantly. And oftentimes you end up not having the solution against it. So that's why there's a balloon ban. Uichan here. Look at that most played card, of course, Zap. Very likely, but Inferno Dragon to stop heavy pushes. So he's the one actually using a lot of Inferno Dragons for himself. Lots of miners as well, along with the poison. Chip damage has been the way to go and a win condition for him. Oz here to the other side. A little bit of a different play style with the fireball. Lots of golems as well. We'll have the heavy push. It seems very likely from Oz. I think that's why we see the Elixir Collective ban, of course.
What is he going to put in instead then? I think maybe Golem Nightwitch is a possibility. Golem Nightwitch Inferno Dragon is a very good push going
Oftentimes,
forward.
compared to when there's a Golem available, and compared to the Golem, P.E.K.K.A has been actually a very good tool. Once you delay and use P.E.K.K.A as a defensive tool when they cross the bridge, just delay the damage. As long as the P.E.K.K.A doesn't really go down, you can use that P.E.K.K.A to tank up and cross the bridge and force your own way of attack right after. So you can defend and attack at the same time. So that's why P.E.K.K.A has been coming out a lot, especially against those giants most likely, and a little less against the golems though.
Still a very good card against golems. But what I noticed yesterday in the games is whoever placed down the P.E.K.K.A first lost. I don't know if it was just for those games yesterday, but if the P.E.K.K.A crosses the bridge and then meets another P.E.K.K.A, because we saw a lot of P.E.K.K.A versus P.E.K.K.A yesterday, the added tower bonus, like, you know, the Princess Tower just starts doing a few little chips on it. The P.E.K.K.A, like the other P.E.K.K.A is just almost at full health going forward, and it's just overwhelming at that point. So maybe players should be looking to play more very defensive P.E.K.K.As instead of the slightly offensive ones.
Depends on the playstyle, how you want to handle it. Balloon is banned, and takes out his Lava as well. But he pairs up Lava even with lots of the other units that can go directly to the tower. See the playstyle of game number 1 as both players get ready for their first one. Final match for tonight. Match number 3 between op.ggskeleton, Fav Gaming. The players are Uichan from the Korean side and Oz from the Japanese side. I believe we are ready to jump into game 1. Let's go ahead and see game. Arena is here.
Oichan in blue for op.ggskeleton and Korea, and Oz in red for Fav Gaming and Japan. Korea as a whole country region are currently down considerably, 5-0. But we see Mini P.E.K.K.A coming in here. Mini P.E.K.K.A with the Spear Goblins behind, the Goblin Hub behind. There's a Bandit, that's going to connect onto the tower.
And Uichan was only holding in the Baby Dragon. We'll pick it out, but get the dash damage and a couple of hits onto the tower. Already Bandit. Powerful tool. To actually use it as a defensive tool. Also, actually, maybe he was also short of his own hand, using Miner to defend against the Baby Dragon.
As I said, I think we've seen quite a lot of these miners being used for defense from the Japanese region. I remember last week was very similar, where they would always throw down this miner defensively to make sure that the push doesn't touch their towers. Lava Hound, Minion Horde there. Does he have an answer to that Minion Horde? There's the Fireball, but another Bandit coming in here. Goes at the tower. He's going to get a lot of hits off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Early a lot, but about the same, or maybe better with the pub.
Oh,
and
so
the Miner
much.
doing tons of damage, and that's going to be the first crown going for Uichan. Zos wanted to try to trade that with the Bandit, but Bandit will get taken out by the Princess Tower after getting about 900 damage.
Yeah, it's not very often you see absolutely every single pup from a Lava Hound focus down on the tower. Usually they get a bit distracted, but that time, no distractions, and it just melted that tower.
In effect, of course, if it connects to the tower, it will do a lot of damage. It seems like it does get one hit, down to 566, but still a tower down.
And a very scary push coming in here with the Lava Hound and Mega Minion, plus the Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon is going to deal with that Minion Horde rather easily, actually.
With
and this is a very powerful push.
Horde out.
There's another Lava Hound. Oh my goodness, what is Oz going to do here?
With the Miner, even worse of a problem, even the Spears goes down. Going in. Even the Baby Dragon is still there, so that's a lot of units actually take care of it. Tsubui going down again, getting 2 crowns already in this 1v1. Oz, he cannot come back into this game. 20 seconds, may just be as well 3 crowns. Inferno Dragon locks on, and that's going to be over 800 damage a second. There we go. So much damage. 3 crown has happened finally tonight. Uichan
what a sky deck. Basically, I don't know what else you could call that, but Lava Hound, Inferno Dragon, Mega Minion, Baby Dragon. Wow.
Lots of big units has been dropped down by Uchan, and he has been making the push. And those pushes have been very heavy. Just noticing that Oz actually likes to run the heavy deck as well. But Uchan brought his own heavy deck, air deck. Everything except the balloon, basically. Minions, Lava Hound, Baby Dragon, which worked really well against the minion horde all the time, taking a zap and
Fireball did once.
I guess you can call it Fireball from Baby Dragon. But everything's Fireball.
Everything's a
There's
fireball.
a Fireball spell, Wizard throws a
If
Fireball.
it's a ball and it's on fire, it's a fireball. It's just how it is. But the spell Fireball did take down one minion horde. And then after that, he just Baby Dragon zapped everything. And it's a really good use of Elixir, actually.
I know Oz did have the Bandit, a few dashes into the tower. But you can't stop any of the air units. That's the thing. He didn't really have any good defense against it. Just the hut, never really connecting with all the lava or the Baby Dragon.
Yeah,
so
it never really built that like the death ball it needs to be useful. Like it gets maybe one spear off and then dies instantly.
he did get the Bandit freely doing damage, but in terms of how much damage and in the long term how much you can actually do, of course, Lava Hound wins in the big time. A lot slower. So I think also you have to push in a lot more than just a single Bandit. Maybe he's connecting with a few more. Maybe his own minion horde connecting with the Bandit to trade it to the tower. And he was really not putting the right resources at the right tower, I believe, in game one. That's why he was falling behind so hard against the heavy push of Uchan. I think it will just continue into game one.
Are we going to see game two different decks? I think Oichan might change his deck this time, because that was a very... Here's a deck that you don't see at all. And it took him by surprise. I don't think we'll be seeing it again, because it is kind of counterable, right? It's... You get a few, maybe Inferno Dragons in there, minions, minion horde. It's a very counterable deck, so I don't think we're going to see it again.
Well, let's see if he actually brings that Inferno Dragon once again, Uchan. Do I have a feeling that he may just stay with the similar one? Of course,
Of course, I said he'd change, so of course he's going to keep the same deck. But both these players are just warming their hands up. They're going to be waiting until that double elixir time, which means we haven't seen anyone try to cycle anything, so I guess they got the perfect hands each. Both players have the perfect hands. There's a log, so there is a bit of a cycle here.
dropping that down, testing the water, how the temperature feels. Right there with the log. Oh, not really going to respond. Maybe he has brought his own Lava Hound, his favorite.
Oh, so now we've started.
Too late?
Too late. But that was all it took for these players to decide to start actually playing and not wait for this elixir mark. So Lumberjack is down, Mega Minion for Oichan. There's the Spear Goblin. There's the Goblin Hut.
We'll be connecting as soon.
Oh, a Night Witch. Golem coming after this, maybe?
That's very possible. So we can dropping the Zappies even before, just predicting what is likely going to happen.
We haven't seen any kind of support for this Night Witch. There's a defensive miner coming out from Oichan, making sure that Night Witch doesn't attack the Sparkies.
Zappies having the slow stun onto the Baby Dragons will help a little bit. Gets connected with the damage onto the right tower. Only a little bit of damage.
So the Zappies continue their push forward, but do get taken out by the Lumberjack. That Rage Potion is going to drop down on absolutely nothing here. Mega Minion goes down, but there is always a Spear Goblin from behind it. We see a P.E.K.K.A. from Oichan against the Golem of Oz.
The Golem hasn't ready, put down with the Night Witch right after.
The Zappies are going to be a good answer for the bats that are going to be coming out of this Night Witch, but so is a Poison. And they lock on. There's a Rocket. dealing so much damage, but Pekka stands. Pekka still takes down those golems.
Pekka's the only one damage that'll go down, along with the damage onto the Pekka from the rocket as well. So has to drop the Royal Ghost along with the damage, but against the air units, will just go straight to the tower. Has to drop in the Night Witch.
This time the offensive mana. Oh, and he does activate that King Tower. It's late in the game, but that's still a decent amount of defense there for Oz with the towers only.
Yeah, Rocket, after seeing that Rocket, it will be changing its placement on the Goblin Hut every single time now. It's a little bit tougher in this overtime. Not too much damage to any of the tower, only the lowest one actually 1700.
Yeah, it's been very back and forth. A lot of fighting, getting stuck like just in front of the towers and not connecting with them. Zappy's connecting with the Baby Dragon, so the Lumberjack is just going to finish them up. Ooh, one left. Decent amount of damage from the Zappy that was on the left-hand side, though.
Golem, right? Not right next to, not right on top of the bridge, actually onto the side. Laying that little bit, great poison to deal damage, even along, pushing that a little bit back. Night Witch has been dealt with already. The Gold Mites also went down, even not really damaging the hut even too much.
No, the Golems went down very, very easily. Pekka is a very, very good counter. That tornado there, dragging the Pekka into the Night Witch, I don't think he really wanted to do that.
So the Ghost actually connected with the tower once, so he was actually a little bit late. The damage once onto the tower, down to 910. May just be enough with the time we have. 148 on the clock.
One hit from the Miner, 2 hits from that Miner. Every little helps at this point. Oichan does have an advantage. And a very usable advantage as well.
Lumberjack really not too much of a help. I think Oz really has to use that Lumberjack to power up the rage onto the Golem.
Oh, the Royal Giant does connect with the tower. There's a tornado. Just in time. He did get one hit though.
And he's losing in the Elixir raid because of that. I believe he does have the rocket. The Miner is also the problem. The left one is so low. Will be going down to a poison, and well, to finish up will be very soon. Golem is taken care of onto the right side.
Yep. That should be it. I think Oichan has this in the bag, but he does have 1 minute left to drop that poison on the tower, plus a little bit of extra damage, I believe. There's the Miner, there's the poison. He does get the one hit from the Miner, 2 hits from the Miner, and that is going to be enough. Oichan taking game 2. op.ggskeleton won. One set there. Oichan, convincing fashion, would you say?
Not really a close game, I would say. Oichan had his control with the deck, and just better management of the elixir, how you can control your cycle, and of course Oz able to come back a little bit, doing some damage, but he was way too slow. Lumberjack, I think it's falling out of the 1v1 super hard, even 2v2, because once rage, you can actually position where it's going to be the timing and the placement as well. Lumberjack actually does a ton of damage if he goes straight to the tower, but oftentimes never really making that far. And you can't really control your Lumberjack once you drop it down. You kind of have to predict, but your opponent can actually trick its mind to go somewhere else. Maybe the rage is not going to be at the perfect time with the Golem, and oftentimes the Golem itself never connecting. Even the Gold Mice didn't even connect to the Goblin Hut a few times. So that was a really slow push, a classic push with the Night Witch, of course, but very well dealt with from op.ggskeleton this time, which and having that 2-0 win. They will be moving on to set number 2, which is 2v2. But finally, is it about time, Korean team, to have a win against the Japanese team?
They need it. They need something to turn the tides of fortune in their favor, because being 6-0 down is not the position you want to be with at this point in time, especially day 2. Being 0-6 is going to hurt the morale of all the teams in Korea, I think. But we are going to see the 2v2 matchup. It's going to be Chasu and Jin TV versus Red and Yakitori. Kind of excited to see how this one will go.
Yakitori again onto the 2v2. Chashujin TV, they also love some heavy pushes coming in. Jin TV tried out for 1v1, I believe, last weekend also. Did not turn out to be too great with time, making a few mistakes with the spells placement. And
But-
even when the tornado was available, activating with King Tower a few times, that's always something that you have to really think of in mind when tornado is not banned. Always think of a Hog Rider, Miner, anything close to that, you will be dragged into the King Tower. Look at that Miner ban. Finally, we have that out on 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected a lot more minor bans today, and this I think is the first one, right? Yeah, just quickly taking a look. Yeah, first ban of minor today, and it's been such a prevalent card in every deck, in every situation. I think it's about time it did get banned. Tornado is absolutely zero surprise, though. I think that's nearly every match it has been banned.
Yeah, Tornado, of course, even in 1v1, banned so many times from as a spell, so effective activating King Tower, just dragging them away from the towers, and maybe even pairing up with the Executioner. Lots of rockets has been a possible way for 2v2. I'm kind of surprised that we have never really seen the giant skeleton yet into this weekend. Maybe Korean teams, Japanese teams really not. After seeing that from Southeast Asia, maybe they already have answers against it. I'm pretty sure that's the case in this right now after we had a whole week to actually prep that up against it.
So we're talking 2v2 giant skeleton with the clone spell as well?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that last week, and oh my goodness, it was such a good defensive tool. And if it goes forward, like, it's over. If that gets anywhere near a tower, it's over in one set of bombs.
Never really made it to the tower too much, only as a defensive tool against lots of golems and the double princes.
But I don't know if we're going to see that in this game. I don't think either of these teams has ever really showed much of a double giant skeleton clone kind of thing. There was one team last Saturday in Korea who did it. Was it op.ggskeleton? I don't think it was.
I think we also heard the interview that they have prepared to play it, and then Southeast Asian team played it the day before of what they prepared for 2v2. So we ended up seeing in Southeast Asia and Korea the same weekend.
So without the miner, what are we going to see here from... Well, I mean, op.gg actually banned the miner, so I guess they've prepared graveyard poison decks? Maybe golem decks?
Yeah, GTV, look at that. Played lots of 1v1, but never a 2v2 player for the team. Right now, just building decks that they have been practicing. A sheet of paper right next to him. Just looking for cards. kind of funny. Like, oh, this card. Oh yeah, this card.
You think they'd have had it prepared on the accounts already, but I guess they're swapping things up in this 3 minutes. That they do get time. Here's Chasu. Has played every 2v2 for op.ggskeleton. It's 3-2. Not a bad record at all for 2v2.
Not a bad one, but of course they've been struggling a little bit against even in their own region. And yesterday, including, makes them 2v2, 2-2 in the match score. They have to climb up a little bit more. Maybe a finally win for Korea team as well. Yakitori here onto the other side, the Japanese team from Bob Gaming.
It's not going to be easy. Look at that win record for Fav Gaming, 4-1 for Yakitori. That's a really good stat. So Fav Gaming in 2v2 is 4 wins and 1 loss. It's not going to be easy for op.ggskeleton here.
And they have been banning Tornado twice in a row on their 2v2s. Hopefully they can have it up, and especially when Rad was in the team. The ban card was Tornado. Even with Yakitori, it was Tornado once again. So lots of Tornado bans happening from Fav Gaming over and over again. Has been the big trend for 2v2. May just continue into all the way into week 8 until we have some great, maybe some big balance patch will be coming up soon. You know, who knows? I think a goblin. I think not the goblin. The Rascals may need to be tweaked a little bit. And so far, I'm not personally having a pretty bad time with the Rascals. I think those gumdrops are a little bit too weak.
No, what are you talking about? I've thought they've been really strong. They deal so. It's like having 2 Dark Goblins behind it.
It's like having a lower tier giant and archers behind it, basically.
I don't know if I agree with you there. I think they are a very promising card, and in 2v2 I can see it being very, very
Oh, maybe in
strong.
2v2. Never tried in 2v2. Of course, I didn't have chance.
Yeah, four girl rascals and 2 boy rascals in front. That sounds like a very meaty kind of push. But let's get on to today. They're not out yet. They're not in the meta. We have Chasu and Chin TV for op.ggskeleton in blue. And we have Rad and Yakitori, the golden pair for Fav Gaming, in red at the top.
Will be the golden push once again. It will be big drop down by Fav Gaming. Lava Hound has been the key card for their 2v2. Let's see how each team approaches their big, heavy ones to push in.
Lumberjack does walk behind the golem, pushing it just a little bit. There's a wonderful Inferno Dragon connecting on that Lava Hound long before he got anywhere near the tower. So the golem will get a couple of hits in here with the Rage Potion as well. Not too much damage though.
Yep, once it goes, breaks off to the Gold Mites. Doesn't really do too much. There's a balloon now. Diving right in with the Rage Potion right on top. Rocket has to be used.
Still going to get the Death Bomb damage onto that tower. They really need to build some kind of heavy support behind this golem that will actually push forward and not get stuck in that defensive circle there across the bridge.
The reason why Golden was able to go all the way, even after the tombstone, was because they actually ended up using double the zap because they refreshed the laser twice from Infernal Dragon. Not going to be refreshing this time as another rage dropped down by Fav Gaming.
This time does a lot more damage from the golem and the golemites, down to 1,582. And is there enough here for this air defense? There's the ice golem. What are they going to have to actually support that?
Nothing else.
Might get a little bit of a connection there.
Yeah, that's it.
Still decent amount of damage. 1862 brings the
I
towers.
don't think
parity.
you really want to waste too much, as you are also lacking, maybe lacking spells right after.
And you want to be
guards actually connected.
Yeah, and you want to be saving the elixir for that golem that's going to be coming down. Bats will get taken out quite easily by the tower, and the skeletons too. Double Lava Hound, double Inferno Dragon. Oof, that's a heavy push.
But the rage on top and the balloon is coming. The rocket is already used, so it has to drop down the Electro Wizard. Will basically be a trade, maybe a race for the third crown, going straight to the King Tower.
It has to be a race, but at this point it looks like Fav Gaming might actually have a little bit of an advantage in this push. There is so many units down there now. What is connecting to the tower? Just the Lava Hound for right now. The other Lava Hound they just dropped starts going for the Princess Tower, but the Inferno Dragon does connect. Oh,
even the rage comes down from OpenGG's continuing their push and stopping that giant push from Lava Hounds after Lava Hounds.
That was very dangerous. It had that push, if connected to the tower, had the chance just to delete that HP bar with nothing else. Lava Hound and Inferno Dragon again coming up with the guards behind. What do op.ggskeleton have here to be able to defend this?
They do have the rocket in place, and they're waiting for the perfect moment. Rage drops that. I think it's about time we see the balloon as well. Not lava instead for now.
Everything's connecting at the top right-hand side.
Lumberjack does a ton of damage to the tower connecting, and the rage pops up later, but with the fireball, they actually push all the way in. Ice Golem taking some out of the damage, so we'll be defending pretty well against it, but still a good trade for Fav Gaming.
Yeah, it looked like Yakitori celebrated a little bit too soon. It did look like that would be enough, and he kind of took his hands off the device for just a second. But here comes another big, powerful push.
Right onto the lava, but this balloon, base security, they do have the rage available. There we go. Nothing else to stop it, and that's going to be the end. Tombstone was not available, and they don't have anything else to stop that from happening. Maybe a rocket, but way too close to the tower already.
Our Fav Gaming showing that they are the kings of 2v2. Rad and Yakitori have shown time and time again that this pairing is the ultimate 2v2 that we have seen out of any region, I believe. If they win this, it'll be 5-1. That's prolific.
Pretty good record for the team for sure. And how they actually control the Lava Hound and their push with the balloon, they were controlling the elixir trade really well by using that Lava Hound, forcing the Inferno Dragon all the time, and using a lot of zaps to be consumed by op.ggskeleton. Skeleton. They ended up using both of their zap all the time.
There's just... What are op.ggskeleton going to do against that big, heavy kind of push that came out from Fav Gaming?
I think over time, a lot of the teams will realize that Rage Push will be a lot better of a tool compared to that Lumberjack, even if that's connected to the tower a little bit. Only a decent amount of damage, about 400 or 500 for the entire game. Never really got too much value out of the Rage after.
But Rage does kind of take out one of your spell slots, I would say, because you don't want a deck with more than 3 spells, right? That's roughly the sweet spot. 3 spells, like, you know, lightning, fireball, and arrows or something like that, or log. 3 spells is enough. I think 4 spells would be heavy. So what would you drop out the standard spells for that Rage Potion?
Lumberjack.
No, but then you have 4 spells.
Oh, you can have 3 or 4. It doesn't matter as long as you have synergy with your teammate. I think it's still possible, but just dropping down the zap and Rage Potion along with... They didn't have anything like poison, any other spell to really pair that up. All they needed to do was make sure and guarantee the air push goes straight to the tower with the Rage, gets the speed. And they did just that with the Lava Hound and the Balloon. Rage was just enough. They did have some zaps, and that was it. Nothing really of a heavy one like the Lightning spell or the Poison spell coming in.
I don't know. I think Lumberjack is a really good card for the fact that it can be used defensively. In Rage, you have to have those units around it to be able to defend. So I think Lumberjack is still going to be ideal for a lot of players over the Rage Potion.
Okay, of course you do have one more. And the band continue. Same band, minor tornado band in this case, so let's see if they actually changed any of their spells or the units going into game number 2. First game went to Fav Gaming.
Rad and Yakitori have proved over and over again that they are a 2v2 team to be reckoned with. If they win this, they will be 5-1 in 2v2. That record is incredibly good at this point in time. We do see that Chasu and Jin TV in the blue are going Golem, Dark Prince. There is an Inferno Dragon, and Fav Gaming look like they're going for their own.
Just on everything. Make sure this connects to the tower. Not going to be yet. Golem doing some damage down to 1500 already. They've put down everything. They have to make this push worth a while.
That Lumberjack, raged up Lumberjack, does so much damage. Took out those Golemites in next to no time whatsoever. There's so much there again.
This push is actually gigantic. Inferno Dragon kills the tower. Kills the tower. Destroys directly. May just continue all the way to 3 crowns. And they defended in time.
Ooh, 529. A rocket. Poisons. Oh my goodness.
There's nothing that they can actually stop from happening. Fav Gaming, they have already won this game with just based on a few more spells. That's going to be just game over.
op.gg spent way too much elixir in that big push forward without really getting anything accomplished, and they just had nothing left on the defense.
The Golem is pushing. Any sort of damage, they should have all the... Look at that, even though op.gg just dropping that rage on top of their own towers, they know. The game is already over. There's that first crown from op.gg, but all the way to the King Tower. Fav Gaming will take game number 2 and bounce back in 2v2. We are going to that ace match.
Wow, that is the most dominant 2v2 performance we have seen in the Clash Royale League Asia.
No, it was
at all.
I think it was more of a mistake from coming up from op.gg. I know it was a very hype moment, but they have spent everything. They have spent the rocket, they put down the rage, and they put down all the units. And all the units. Wait, let's look at that again. I think we're going to see the replay, but only Golem and Dark Prince to actually go all the way in with the rage. A little later with Lumberjack, didn't really get to connect with the rage at all on his own.
No, he did.
But not to the
cleaned up
tower.
Golem.
Not to the tower.
Yeah, not to the tower.
They were, if they spent that much elixir, they had to be sure that they're leading in Elixir already. By the beginning of the game, they were even in Elixir. And really looking for luck for the opponent team to be off guard. And it's really hard. There was nothing else. If there was like a battle ram coming to this from the other lane, maybe. But I think they were just being too naive, thinking that this is going to work. Let's just put down everything, rage, rocket, let's take everything out. Maybe it will connect. No. It was a bad move, I would call it. In this competitive scene, you can't just look for luck and thinking it's going to work. Maybe you can have some predictions. But in this case, I think that kind of synergy, the cheese strategy that they really have, did not work out at all.
No, it didn't work out, but I'd still say there was enough there from Rad and Yakitori to say that they dominated that game. Because like, even if they took the one tower, they still had to go forward and take the King Tower. And luckily for them, that Inferno Dragon just was undefended. Did they have anything that could attack air? That's from op.gg. Did they have any anti-air?
They did. They did have some anti-air, but the fact they used everything right before, they didn't have enough elixirs to even show what they have. You know, I really think we only saw like 5-6 cards out of both players, because they had no way of actually defending after spending all that much, not really getting too much value out of it. And it was also Fab Gaming, the great push right after to compound all that with all the air that they have.
It's got to be, it's got to feel bad for Chasu and Jin TV there, because even if you call it a mistake, you call it a mistake. I kind of agree, but you got to feel bad that something you've prepared for. They've obviously prepared that strategy. It's worked in training. Just got manhandled so badly by Fab.
I think they were really falling behind, as we do see this kind of strategy in Collection Day. Of course, once you press that skull and you go to the overtime mode, once you start with the overtime, and of course we do follow the community as we have lots of cheese strategies. Just go all the way in. We just saw it together with the Hog Rider freeze and Mirror freeze. Of course, you have to have the perfect starting hand to do that, but oh man, that looks scary. Hog Rider just runs into it, and then there's the 3 Musketeers dropping down, but you freeze it and freeze it again. Hog Rider is free to do all the damage.
Just the whole
you win in
tower.
20 seconds.
It was insane.
Game over. Easy 3 wins Collection Day.
I don't think cheesing sudden death is the best way to play Clan Wars, but that's just me. I prefer draft mode.
You can choose your own mode, select your favorite. That's what the collection is about. But ace match, player selection. The decision has been made from either side. Jin TV from op.ggskeleton, Rad from Fab Gaming.
Rad has shown that he is a very, very strong player, even in 1v1. This guy is just... he is an all-round Clash Royale player. I feel like he has the advantage here over Jin TV.
On what though? Just give me some reasons.
Mechanics-wise, I feel that Rad TV is a bit stronger than Jin. Rad is a bit stronger than Jin TV in terms of mechanics. His overall play just looks tighter and tighter than Jin TV's.
Rad does have 6 games played in 1v1 so far. Jin TV, 9 games. And he was actually the one, Jin TV, banned Battle Ram twice in a row. Been really scared about, really concerned about his own counter, which could have been the dash. They're charging in Battle Ram, lots of princes, and the Bandit has been the case for that deck.
Battle Ram can be very difficult to deal with for things like spawner decks. It can be quite difficult to deal with there, especially if the Battle Ram is in the opposite lane from where you've decided to put your spawner buildings. So maybe he'll go spawn again. We have seen him use spawn decks before.
Maybe that can be the same story as we had lots of spawn and buildings structures coming down from lots of the Korean teams, especially. Maybe just Goblin Hut to delay the tactics. The ban card Miner once again. Expo has been sniped against Jin TV, having a grin.
Maybe he was preparing for a few Expo games here, wanted to play it. I think he played it last week or the week before. I know he has played Expo and he did really well with it. So the ban though for Expo does seem a little interesting to me.
Well, it's always a card that can snipe onto you very quick cycles once you start to lose that elixir trade. And you see that Expo just landing right next to your bridge or right in the middle. And oftentimes it starts as a defensive tool, but once the Expo player, if they have the control of the game, will go straight to the tower, and it will not stop in time unless you bring that down. Or you have to use the elixir wizard or zap it, freeze it, something that you gotta do actually to delay against. There are good counters like the golem, big health units, very good counters against the Expo because it takes a long time, small amount of damage every single shot from the arrow.
You know what's not a good counter to Expo? Royal Ghost. Because he's invisible when he's dropped, if you drop it at the wrong time, suddenly the Expo just connects straight onto the tower and it's over.
Yep, and with that already gone, and also Minor gone, Minor ban coming out from Jin TV, continue into the game, the final match here, as they will have 3 minutes. This all comes down to 1v1 between Uichan and Oz. 2-0 victory from Uichan. 2v2, Fab Gaming took it fashionably with 2-0. Rad and Yakitori and Rad back in the ace match. Jin TV, is op.ggskeleton really keeping their minor ban, continuing from 2v2? I don't think Fab Gaming is too much concerned about the minor ban. They're using lots of air, lots of lava hound.
Yeah, we have seen them use some miners, but not as much as the Korean teams have been using minor poison. They have done quite a few golems, I believe. We've seen a lot of golems in the Japanese region, as well as a lot of charge decks.
You have an intense music for some reason.
Yeah, it's very
intense.
very
Make sure you
intense.
have the perfect cards. Select the right one with the touch.
With a very serious face.
I have a question,
Oh.
Simon.
Oh god. Go for it.
How do you have the cards sorted? Do you go by the
By
elixir
rarity.
or the rarity? Okay,
By rarity.
that's how you do it.
Yeah.
My man.
I'm not gonna do it by elixir because I remember a little bit, but then I'm like, oh wait, where's this card? And I'm searching through and I can't find it because like maybe I thought it was 3 elixir and it turns out it's 4 elixir.
I usually do it by rarity also, and then legendary card you just scroll all the way down. You can find all the legendary. It's really easy. So oftentimes I have it at that way, and legendary of course all the way down, and the new cards you scroll all the way down, and sometimes when it just comes out it automatically goes all the way down. And then it was only a few days ago when the Rascals came in, I turned on the game and then it scrolled down automatically, and then I thought, what's going on with my phone? And then there's a new card. Okay, I knew that was there, but I was freaking out for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sorting by elixir. It just makes it harder because I know what the rarities the cards are. I know what elixir they cost, but it's just it's easier by rarity because rarity does elixir sorting as well. Common cards 1 to 8, 1 to 7.
I guess if you want to really make a light deck, maybe having by elixir could help you in that way. But you don't really, I don't think a lot of normal players actually change the deck too much. But I think we are ready to jump into the final ace match here. The final match and the final set of tonight. Jin TV and Rad, they're ready with the bands Minor and the Expo.
Jin TV in blue at the bottom throws out that Goblin Barrel, and Rad answers with a Goblin Gang and an Elixir Collector. Instant fireball material that.
Princess,
one
lovely with the long range. Hitting the Ice Golem, not to the Elixir Collector. Has already taken hit by the Fireball, so kind of having an even trade between the both players.
This Princess, if you've got a little bit more of a if the Ice Golem was a little bit closer to the Elixir Collector, he might not have got that second Elixir, and that would have put him a little bit ahead, actually. We see the Dark Prince here coming out from Rad. The Dark Prince coming out from Jin as well. So what are we going to see as the big, heavy collector? There we go. The three Musketeers all being drawn into that lane. Didn't want them to be split. Princess comes in.
It's not landing. Ice Golem buying some time. And that will be the end of story for those three Musketeers.
Very well handled there by Jin TV, I have to say.
I think Jin TV's got this collected for himself. Fireball, of course, used to kind of counter the collector, but in the same scenario, you can actually use it right after the three Musketeers spawn. You can actually take that as well very easily.
Goblin's getting some damage there, down to 1,784 on that top right-hand tower, and there's the Goblins. Oh, unfortunate there. That was perfectly countered by Rad. Princesses will finish that up, and Rad is pushing very heavily here. Dark Prince is going to be able to connect to the tower after this. 2 times Elixir is in the way of his health bar. No, not quite.
Princess actually does a lot of damage. She's very weak against basically deleted by every spell except for the zap.
There's the battering ram. Doesn't even get past the bridge. But if you notice, Brad actually moved his Elixir Collector to the opposite side, knowing that Jin TV has an advantage on that right-hand side.
Because the Fireball will be connecting to the tower at the same time, but actually the Goblins connected a good amount of damage, about 200-300 there. And another barrel locked in. You see the Tornado not really getting that Musketeer to the left side.
If he'd have got that Musketeer there, it would have been lights out for that tower, but it is anyway. Top right-hand tower goes down. Jin TV has
there's a Fireball.
The advantage.
To take out all the Musketeer, Dark Prince is getting delayed, but Ice Golem will just drag him to the other side. And I think Rad has lost this game number 1. Only 2 seconds left on the clock. That is going to be game. Going to Jin TV, first game.
Wow. Very, very well played there by Jin. Perfect control of his units. Shame he missed the Tornado with that the third Musketeer, just on the edge. Really. If he'd have got that, it would have been over 10 seconds earlier, 15 seconds earlier.
I don't think that was even needed, as he got the control. He was winning the Elixir trade. He let the Elixir Collector go, and making him to really have that push with the 3 Musketeer. He was expecting that to happen very likely. He seemed very calm and collected, having that way, predicting where it's going to be with the Tornado. He had the perfect response.
Even though the Goblin Barrel didn't do that much work, I think he got one good connection onto the tower out of everything, right? Most of the time it was countered by Goblin Gang, by Dark Prince. I think he got one good barrel out of all the barrels he threw. I think he threw 4. 1 out of 4?
Still with that, he baited all the spells out, and that's why he was able to have that Dark Prince charge into directly to the tower, connecting even with the Goblins of his own, which actually did quite a bit of damage when there was a gigantic push from the left side. We didn't really get to focus on the right tower too much, but he was doing some chip damage as well. So overall, a very good trade coming from Jin TB all the time.
Yeah, and his defense was perfect. He maybe took 1, maybe 2 hits onto his towers? Something like that. He didn't take a lot of damage whatsoever in that game. But this is number 2. This is game number 2. We reset everything. Jin TV is in blue for op.ggskeleton. Won that last game. But Fav, with Rad, is not one to lose a 1v1. And I think we're going to see something different. There's a Goblin Barrel for Rad. Tried to Tornado Jin TV there, but missed the Tornado completely.
Not even close. It's possible to actually activate the King if you have that perfectly placed, but Rad was on top. He was expecting a Tornado.
Prince there just running through. It's going to charge onto this tower. Jin TV counters with the Ice Wizard and the guards. Good answer to the Prince's question there. He has taken some damage onto that tower. Is that going to be a problem going forward?
I think not too much. Even with that tornado, Jin TV is feeling rushed as he has been making not the perfect placement of the tornado twice in a row.
I was gonna say, that tornado just didn't seem particularly useful there for Jin TV.
Yeah, even this Inferno Dragon will not be too effective in any way. I think his starting hand was really lost in control. And just look at all the cards at the bottom of the screen. It's really hard to land all that. Of course, without the final card.
Perfect elites. Perfect guards placement there, actually. I'm saying elites. The perfect guard placement there just to make sure that barrel didn't do any damage to the tower whatsoever. Ice Spirit jumps into the tower, gives it a nice big frosty hug. But I think they're just going to wait, build up their elixir now, and start the next set of pushes.
Real problem will come in with the cut. This time, we'll actually activate the King Tower. Better use of the tornado. It's not actually too late. Still has a decent amount of HP.
Yep. And nothing Rad has could really take it down from this point. But there's a graveyard. Is there an answer? Goblin Gang does come out. Poison for Jin TV. Guards coming down to the answer for the Skeleton Barrel, but still taking quite a lot of damage onto that bottom left-hand tower.
It was a little bit more compared to that graveyard. Also missed poison to actually grab onto the Princess instead of all the Goblin Gang onto the left side.
Using the tornado again there. Was it necessary?
Well, he doesn't really have the tornado to be used onto anything else. Only the Goblin Gang can be kind of countered with the tornado, but better as well just use it against the barrel. I think it's not a bad choice, but as long as he has the perfect placement for it.
Taking a little bit more damage there, but there is the Ice Golem in front this time to tank a lot of damage. Down goes all the goblins behind the Ice Golem though. That's going to be an issue. There's the Goblin Gang. Oh, this is getting a bit heavy here, a bit rough for Jin TV.
The real issue for Jin TV is that Princess. That's why he's actually using the poison all the way to the far. Not really damaging the left side. Princess, the range is way too big, taking out all the goblins, spirit goblins, as well as the air units at the same time.
Red does have enough here to break through. He is going to take that tower. 927 left. All it'll take is a charge or two, a couple of hits from a barrel. He has a lot of answers to deal with that 927 HP tower.
Not really doing too much, especially with that King Tower activated from Jin TV. Could have landed a few more hits, I believe, but it's a lot more of a defensive tool for himself, actually using that tornado to drag that Infernal Dragon. So saves the Princess.
Save the Princess, save the world here. Another couple of hits from that Goblin Barrel. Down to 729. Rad is in control here. I don't think Jin TV has actually pushed across the bridge in a long time.
He can't. He can't really cross the bridge. Once he does, it will be the time for the graveyard. Here comes to Jin TV. Using that tornado button. Poison right on top of Jin TV. Graveyard somewhat connecting directly to the tower.
Good use of the tornado that time, pulling it out so the Spirit Goblins can finish it up. And he's slowly clawing that tower down, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in enough time. There's only 1 minute, 10 seconds left of this game. Is he going to be able to do 1,364
Princess still
damage?
connects to all the one on the left side. Barrel will be available just now. And from with the log, they do have lots of spells doing some damage. Only chipping down about 100 at a time.
The area of effect there from that Ice Wizard did connect onto the tower. 492 on Jin TV's tower. Rad has 1,364. Poison, graveyard combo again, and there's a lot of connections here.
They're dropping down the prison. A Prince to actually defend here. Just enough, but you kind of wasted your Prince to defend against the Skeletons, which is basically a waste.
Is it a waste? Because if he didn't defend there, he would have actually lost this game. 408 HP on the tower for Jin TV. 914 for Rad. There's 25 seconds left. Whatever player gets a big push next wins.
Okay, Princess is locking to the right side. Will be controlled by the guard. Single mistake from Jin TV will be game over. Q10 with the long down two. And the Ice Golem did not really stop all the goblins. He did not have the tornado available for himself as well. Maybe just thought Ice Golem was enough. A single mistake, I was calling out at that moment, will be just game, and he ended up just not having the perfect cycle for that barrel now.
Yeah, it looked like the Ice Golem was played around the same time as the Goblins popped out. But unfortunately, the Goblins popped out a little bit quicker than the Ice Golem got put down, which meant that they targeted the tower instead of the Golem. I think that's what it looked like happened. To me.
Jin TV over time, I don't think he could have brought the tower down, even with the poison spell. And the graveyard, which was handled okay with Brad. It wasn't the best trade that either side could have. They didn't really have a counter to each other. Barrel was basically after the King Tower activation. It's really tough to actually have the barrel doing any damage. Tornado used all the time from Jin TV, so barrel was basically getting tossed, but for no cost, for no damage whatsoever.
It's very interesting that Jin TV banned out the miner and then played a deck that would have done infinitely better with a miner. I feel like his deck there with the miner would have been able to take that game very easily.
Could have been, it's totally possible. I think you're right on the money there, but he does have the miner ban. And with that poison, he's just continuing a similar style. I think he's changing his own way, but not too effective so far with the graveyard. Maybe he was just expecting a poison from Fab Gaming to actually go into a longer game. It was not the case in game 2. Here we go, the final game between these two. The winner will bring the team victory between op.ggskeleton and Fab Gaming. Can Japan continue their streak, 6-match streak over 2 days? Or is it going to be the end where Korea finally strikes back up?
Executioner here for Jin TV. This means it's going to be a deck we haven't seen yet today. Of course, Executioner is a great card. It has a good body behind it and very good damage.
Another X-Bro with the poison will be going down. Actually throws in, I thought it was going to connect to the tower, but not just in time.
Unfortunately, threw it at an empty space, meaning there was nothing for it to connect to. Dark Prince here is gonna slowly take out those skeletons. Minion Horde. Mega Minion will kill 2 or 3. Didn't get that many minions out the way, and they do connect onto the tower.
It does tons of damage. Even if you have one single minion land on a good hit, and with the full HP, will actually do tons of damage directly to the tower. 3 of them. Maybe Jin TV just thought Executioner is just enough. And I do have the poison to kind of counter the HUD all the time.
It does make sure none of the Spear Goblins will get through for the duration. About 8 seconds, 2 spawns, I think. 3 Musketeers summoned at the back there. Split 2-1. How is Jin going to answer this with the cards he's shown so far? I don't think he's going to be able to. Executioner should do a good job. There we go. Executioner will do the job.
Great angle, the placement of Executioner to do all the damage to all 3 units back there. Take some practice. Of course, I can't do this.
My Executioner play is particularly weak. I don't use him that much. You see a lot of pros use it, and even they sometimes get the angle slightly wrong on the execution.
That's why you bring the Tornado in as well, and it is available, but with Poison and the Log, maybe not having 3 spells, a little bit too much. And there is a Tornado finally, timing it perfectly to bring all of them together to pair up with the Log damage. It's not connect to the 3rd Musketeer though.
Otherwise, it would have been enough to pop them right there. All of them would have just died there if that log did hit that last one.
The last spell used already from GTV, and another Tornado. A few minion hit is going to land on directly to the tower. Ooh, much better of a trade from Brad to actually defend all that one.
Yeah, it's hard to say who's going to push, who's going to break this deadlock first.
Dropping the Musketeers right next to the bridge. Poison and Tornado, so effective against that 9 elixir cost right there.
Summon the the Ice Golem there just to keep them in the poison to finish them off, and that's given him pretty big advantage, I feel, at this point in the game.
8 elixir, Tornado, not 7 elixir, 8 Tornado plus the poison against 3 Musketeer. I'll take it any day.
2 elixir is nothing to laugh at, but he was already elixir behind. So it does kind of bring him even, but he does have a little bit of an advantage here pushing forward. Tornado tried to pull the
Little
three
late this
musketeers
time.
together.
It's super hard to bring that all together now with the time from the tornado now. Damage is the same, but only a few seconds to work on that. So which one can you defend? Do you defend the right side or the minion horde from the left?
I would defend, yeah, minion horde would have been the better one there. You do have the ice column to stop that mega minion, stop that dark prince from running forwards. And a lock there, she will go down instantly here to a tower hit.
Also here so low, but it's continuing, it will finally go down.
Do you think she got her value from that three musketeers there? 9 mana for...
Yeah, drew out lots of spells and survived for a long enough time, I think. The great push. Here's the big push once again. Long poison to deal against it. But healing spell comes in for Rad, going all the way in with the Dark Prince. All three of them will be alive even after the poison. Mega Minion dropping down would get good damage onto the tower twice.
I can't believe it. How many games have we casted there we've seen heal potion? It's got to be, I can count on one hand, and we see 2 today.
3, including last year. Yes, and that was an event match too. So, coming in. Now, JinTV knows that the healing is available. Poison has to be a lot better with the timing.
Oh, that tower took a lot of damage there. JinTV's bottom left-hand tower is at 500 HP.
And he can't even use the tornado to bring all them together because it will actually amplify the healing effect to all three of them together.
Does use it there. Oh, unfortunately the ice golem kept everything there inside that healing potion. Will there be enough here to defend just about? But he doesn't have anything to attack with.
40 seconds. And Goblin Hunt chipping down a little bit. 35 seconds still left. Still very possible. One single mistake. And more likely onto the left lane of JinTV. Very low, 443. Rad choosing the opposite lane, going to the right side. Using all the spells to drag away from the tower. Let's charge in!
Oh no! It got that connection. Now both towers are in very dangerous territory. He only has to last 10 seconds though.
The healing comes in. The minion doing tons of damage to the Executioner. Will
It's
actually
gonna be
connect the
enough.
dots. 2 seconds and that will be the game. Going to Rad and Fab Gaming will take the win. Match number 6 over the weekend. Japan continues their streak over the Korean team.
He just needed 3 more seconds, Jin. If he'd have held on for 3 seconds more, it would have tied up.
That healing spell at the end, just keeping those minions alive. Very well done. I was expecting that play to happen. He was splitting all the resources and making a push at the same time. And once you have all the tornado and the poison against you, you want to split because it will only have a lot more effect every single time they use it together. So great choice by Rad there at the end to actually split them apart and then push all the way in. How to finish this? It was very close, almost went to a tie and then tie break with the ace match for the first time. But here we will have the replay, the first healing potion, actually the second healing potion in this case.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that it just came out of nowhere, but suddenly it makes perfect sense. 3 Musketeers heal is new.
Yeah, this was the mind game that Rad wanted to have. I was expecting the HUD to be on the left side instead because it was so low. Maybe some chip damage every 50. To be exact, we'll be bringing it down to very low. Maybe a log can finish the rest of it. But Rad was actually focusing on the right lane instead, making JinTV think, though, he's actually focusing on the other side.
Yeah, unfortunately, that meant the tombstone was placed a little bit awkwardly. Doesn't drag anything there. The ice golem comes in. And here, that Executioner would have killed everything if it wasn't for that heal. And 3 seconds remaining.
Look at that ceremony and how happy they are. We are going to jump into the interview of Fab Gaming.
皆さんにお話を聞いていきたいと思います。まず
Here's
は
some
小口
words
監督
from the
やり
team.
ました。
いやーラット選手めっちゃかっこよかったですね。本当に
Rad's-
彼一人
Oh, very nice
なん
job.
か全部持ってみたみたいなところあるんですけど、まあでもここに至るまでチームのみんな練習してきたりとかい
I
ろん
think
なこと
it's
があった
the
ので、
practice that made us
それ
come
が
all
うま
the
く
way
結果
here.
につながってよかったかなと思います。
Ended
応援して
in a
くれ
good
た皆さん
result.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
さあそして今回選手としては出場しませんでしたが、ケンツメイ選手。
Can't smash it.
そうですね、オズ選手が先方というところで、
Oz
経験
had
もない中すごい
a difficult
堂々
game.
とプレーしてくれたのがすごい ぱチームにとって糧になりました。あとは
The loss, however, kind of pressured us to go for the win.
選手がやっぱり自分の得意デッキとか自分の勘を
But the red
信じて
player
最後まで自
were
分の
actually
選出でデッキを出して
pulled out his strengths
必死な方なんですけど
and handled very well with the game.
涙ぐみそうになりました。よかったです。
さあそしてオズ選手
Oz?
第1セット落としてしまったんですけど、
Yeah, I lost the first set.
2セット目、3セット目で、
But second set, third set, we were able to win.
本当に感謝しかないです。
And I'm very relieved and thankful
今
for
回
my
得意デ
team.
ッキの5レ30種はやはり登場しなかったんですが、
はい。
You haven't been playing for a while.
そうですね、それもあったのと、あとは
Well, maybe that
自
too.
分の中で準備してたデッキがあったので、これをしっか
But
り
I
ぶ
had
つけ
my
ようとい
deck
う気持ち
prepared.
でぶつけた結果がこれでした。
なるほど。
はい
But I think this was
さ
the
あそして
result
ラッ
with
ト
the
選手
deck that I
最後
actually
決めてくれまし
prepared.
た。
いやー気持ちいい
You
ですね
finished off.
最後このガーゴイルの腕が一気にこう刺さっていったんですけれども、
はい
もう時間も残されてませんでした。
いやそうでしたね。
Had-
なんでもしかしたら引き分けになるかもと思っ
I
て
thought
た
it
ん
was
で
going
す
to
け
be a
ど、
draw
相性が良
game,
かったんで、もうここは勝ち切りたいなと思い
but
ま
I
す。
wanted to win, and I
ありがとう
think I
ござ
was
い
able
ます。
to pull it off with
さあ、そ
this
して
mental
ヤクトリ選
mentality
手
that I had.
そうですね、2対2はやっぱりしっかり練習してきた成果もあって
I had a lot of practice with
あ
the
と最
2
後
on
に
2,
ラットがもう決めてくれると思ってたの
but
で決めてくれ
player
て
Rad
本当に
finished
良か
off
った
our
です
third set,
ありがとうございます。
ended on a
さあ
good
というこ
result.
とで見事勝利したファブゲーミングの皆さんでした。これより、
And that's it with the interview from Fab Gaming, how they were able to practice and really giving lots of praise to Rad for finishing that up with the ace match, going all the way to the last final 3 seconds. What an ending to day number 2 here, week 3.
Yeah, Fav Gaming kind of dominated. It felt like they won in dominating fashion when they did win. When they lost emphatically, but when they won, it was just overpowering their opponent.
And of course, you have to have a great read, and of course, Elixir Trade, if you're having the lead, if you know that momentum, you can just dominate at that moment. That's the moment you just pour out everything. When you know the opponent can't really defend against you, go ahead and put down everything.
And once again, the red side, the Japanese teams, have won every game today. Kingzone Dragon X fell to Detonation Gaming. OGN Entus fell to Ponos Sports. And Fav Gaming, the last game of today, they beat op.ggskeleton. Korea is currently 0-6. Japan is currently 6-0. What will it take to stop these Japanese teams?
You have 2 more matches tomorrow happening. Of course, take a look at the standings right before. I got that mixed up. I was so ready to see the next matchups, but of course, Brand Esports, they will be standing on top. Weird. Ponos, I think Ponos should be on top because they have 4 wins. We do count the wins first.
Yeah,
and I think that score will be changing very soon.
Yeah, but Bren are currently undefeated. Maybe that's how they're working it. 3 wins, 0 losses. And they've only played 3 games. Wow. I can't believe how different this table looks from what I was expecting it to look like.
And we were kind of expecting to have Kingzone Dragon X coming on top, but they have they finally have a loss on their score sheet and dropping down to 3rd place with 3-1 now.
Yeah. And as these teams at the bottom, we see Sandbox and AHQ Esports Club. They're 12 and 11, both 0 wins and maximum losses. They've got to be kind of worried about the rest of this tournament by now.
We'll see. Still 3 weekends in. They do have tomorrow again. The Korean teams and the Japanese teams.
But the teams in the middle, Detonation Gaming, op.ggskeleton, even Chaos Theory, they've got to be feeling okay at this point.
And only Chaos Theory playing 3 matches because next weekend they will be playing, of course, against the Japanese team. So we'll have some mix and matches in the score sheet. But finally, we have the next set of matches. Only 2 matches tomorrow, very sadly. But still, we do have Sandbox, who's standing in the last place against Detonation Gaming, who showed great performances for starting match tonight. Kingdom Dragon X will be the second one against GameWin. That's going to be possibly the most exciting match, right, Knight?
Yeah, that's my 2 favorite players in this tournament playing off against each other. We Expo Master versus Shun. I hope they're playing 1v1 against each other because I just don't know how I'm going to contain myself. The Sandbox against Detonation Gaming. Detonation Gaming turned it around by beating GameWin last week. Maybe Sandbox can turn their look around by beating Detonation Gaming.
I think we have some great players, individual 1v1 players, especially for all region from Southeast Asia. No Aim Sai is rising into the spotlight. And Expo Master has been the one for Korea. And Shun from Japan, I think we see great young players just climbing up to the top. I think we are likely to see a lot more games of 1v1 and 2v2. We have had some exciting moments, Simon.
Yep.
As we're about to close day number 2. We'll continue with more Clash Royale action tomorrow with 2 more matches coming up at 7 p.m. KST. That's going to be the time, of course. Tonight was a little bit earlier, but we'll continue with those 2 matches to finalize and finish up the rest of Korea versus Japan. Can they actually finish the streak, or is it going to be Korea coming back? We'll see you guys tomorrow night.